Hello, welcome in, and we are back with the Simrigs Sprint Series after a little bit of a break and a 24-hour race in the middle of the the races, and we're back now with round 4 here at Oulton Park. One of my absolute favourites in the British Isles. Of course, for those of you who haven't raced on Oulton Park, get out there and do it. You will probably regret it initially, but you'll learn to love it, is my motto. You'll learn to love it. It's a beautiful course. And of course, it is the Simrigs Sprint Series, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later on. In the commentary booth tonight, it is myself, George Cook, and I'm joined with the legendary, the very speedy Alexis Bowen. Alexis, welcome in. How you doing tonight, mate?
Hey George, it is great to be back here for some more Sprint Series action as that tyre bollard is already gone. Tom McDonald taking that out as quickly as you'd like. No, it is great to be here at Oulton Park for the Sprint Series after what was quite a long 24-hour race at the Promotional Spa, 24 hours over the weekend. It was a very big event for OOR, the first 24-hour race that Octane Online Racing has ever set up, and it was quite a success in the end.
Yep, I think a success all around, and some great results out there for a lot of the teams. I think everyone just enjoyed the fact that we were out there racing, with our friends in our teams, whether it was, for position or not. It was just a great event overall, and first time I've done a 24-hour event, and I think a lot of firsts out there for the OOR community in terms of that event. I think everyone enjoyed it for the most part. It really went off without a hitch, from all that I could tell at the very least. But yeah, I'm sure we'll talk about that more later on, because there's plenty to talk about that 24 hours. Last night, of course, we did have the spec series where we had a combined grid of both the yellow and the green splits, and they were here at Oulton Park as well. In the rain, I hear, Alexis.
Yes, they were in the rain, and there could be a little bit of rain coming for this split blue qualifying. There is rain on the radar in 10 minutes time, so these drivers have to get their laps done and dusted as soon as they possibly can, and they'll basically just be a dead rubber for the rest of the session.
Yeah, pretty much. We've got 12 minutes left. The rain's 10 minutes out, so you do need to take advantage of what are probably going to be the only dry conditions out there. Fast conditions on the track right now, 23 degrees Celsius on the track with about 18 in the air. So it's pretty okay right now, but they need to put these laps in because the end of qualifying is going to be a little bit damp. And that is, as you said, going to be a dead qualifying right at the end. So welcome in, of course, to everyone in chat. We've got those in YouTube, and of course we are streaming to Twitch as well. So do consider giving us a like and subscribe, and maybe a follow on Twitch as well, just to drive home the extra content that we're bringing out on those platforms. But yes, little housekeeping item, of course, as well. Simrigs Sprint Series and Simrigs are sponsoring us here, so there is a nice little discount for those who are OOR Patreons. If you are a Patreon of ours, then you do get 5 lovely % off on the online simrigs.com store. So do consider supporting us with OOR Patreon. Links can be found in the description. And of course, that 5% discount. Very, very nice indeed.
Indeed it is, and Simrigs are fantastic at what they do, and brilliant for the community, the sim racing community. So definitely give them a look out, and we thank them for sponsoring this series for quite a while now. Actually, they've been around in the Sprint Series.
Exactly right. So fastest lap there, Shady Samuel straight to the top, 132.950, and that's a pretty decent time in these conditions, so well done there. Shady Samuel, of course, currently leading our Series 15 AP Blue standings. He's got 390 points on the board at the moment, and he's doing pretty well. He's holding a 15-point lead over Stephen Ty, who's in second place, and this is overall as well as in the pro category. And then Tom McDonald, who we saw taking out that barrier, and there's a spun car. It's Mercedes having a bit of a problem there. Wonder if they'll end up reversing through the gap in the wall, which I'm sure we'll talk about at some point. Points for those who can thread the needle between those two barriers. But it is those three leading the Pro Championship at the moment. And then Jeremy Washington, who I saw put in some great times in practice, is leading the silver category on 285 points. Of course, we had a mega battle a couple of weeks ago at Watkins Glen for round 3, where Shady Samuel did take out that top position, followed closely by Stephen Ty, who we're on board with right now. Over the line he goes. It's an improvement on his time, but not by a huge amount. Still 0.5 of a second off of the top spot in his Audi.
Yeah, it's actually 7/10 off as Jeremy Washington goes up into P2, and Dan Rama up in the P3. The number 69 McLaren, the Pro-Am, they're up in P3, 7/10 off.
They are indeed, and yes, you're absolutely right. I just assumed Stephen Ty was in P2 there.
Oh, the rain's here.
Oh, it is. Okay. That's a little earlier than we were expecting, I think.
Yeah, just a little bit, and Shay Samuel goes slightly faster to a 32.6, but that will basically be it. These drivers are not going to get a lot of improvement out of it now, and that will pretty much set your grid then. It'll be, most likely, unless anyone comes up with something miraculous. Benjamin Hignet's really gone for it, though, in his Bentley. He could find a little bit of something.
Certainly could. And Dion Rama there, the number 69 McLaren, has managed to find his way up into P3 in the dry conditions. And that could hold. That could be right there. We could have a Pro Silver Pro-Am top 3 here.
Oh, I think Benjamin Hignet might have something to say about that, though. He's really put the hammer and tong down on this one, and he's going to cross the line, and he's going to go up into P2. Benjamin Hignet there in the Bentley, the boat, as it is often called in the community, has gone up into P2. 8/10 off Shady Samuel.
Yeah, totally, and he's flashing his lights as well. Pretty stoked with that, I would say. And just in time as well, because he was sort of midway through the lap, I suppose, when he got that rain starting to come in. There's another McLaren on the side of the road. Everyone making all sorts of mistakes now, which is not surprising. A lot of them will be running dry tyres still. So a whole bunch of yellow flags out there. Stephen Ty not improving. He's already invalidated this lap. So that could spell a bit of bad news here for Stephen Ty. P5 could be all he's got. Oh, someone also still just improving towards the end there. Won't be able to find any extra time. But we will stay on board and see what Dion Rama can do.
I think the rain's too heavy now. I think the rain has hurt the track condition now, and there is going to be no more improvement for these drivers. So the grid is as good as set as it is right now.
Yeah, I mean, you can put on the wet tyres, you can try, but, you know, you're not going to be doing as fast a times as it was. We were in fast conditions before. It will definitely be damp conditions now. So, yeah, you can see the line in the pit lane here with all the cars lined up. They're all probably, I don't know, you could probably just go out and try a wet tyre set, but I don't think you're going to find improvement. Unless you're
not going to find any improvement.
Yeah, unless you set an absolute shocker as your banker lap on the dries. Look at the drifting here. Is that a TC0? That looks like a TC0 to me.
That is TC0. He's got his TC off. I think Ben's just having a bit of fun out there.
Well, you got to respect it. And, oh, yeah,
there we
go. That was a matter of time.
But honestly, the only thing that these conditions are good for now is some wet practice.
Yeah, exactly right. And they'll probably need it. I mean, we know that the rain could last here. The conditions are likely to stay this way. Eric Scarney, he's still out on track and not really improving at this stage. But again, he's had a pretty average lap on the dries. The question is, can he pull out a faster lap on the wetter tyres? Now, he's on the dry tyres still. Yeah, he's on the dry tyres. So he's trying something. We'll see if it works out for him.
It's not. He's already lost 7/10 of a second. There's no improvement available out on track, even for the slowest of banker times.
Yeah, exactly right. So P20 for Scarney. That's not going to help the Scarney for Pro cause at any point. But Herod as well out there. And yeah, everyone's trying on the drive, but it's just not happening. It's not going to work. The only thing you can do is sit in the pits and wait. Because that is basically our qualifying done with 5 minutes left on the clock. So a little bit disappointing in a way. Sometimes I prefer to have the rain first and then for the wet weather, rain first and then the dry weather to come in. That usually makes for a bit of a better qualify, but it is what it is. We can't control the weather, sadly.
That's it, and what it can do is oh, Stephen Ty going around there. What it can do is it can make for a very, very, very exciting race with a few drivers in a slightly different position to what they usually would be. I mean, Dan Rama there up in P4. Quan there in P8, so a few Pro-Ams sneaking their way into the top 10, and there'll be a few Pros and Silver Class drivers further down that will need to force their way up on a track that is notoriously difficult to overtake on.
Yeah, exactly, and you know, there's a fair amount of curbs out there, some off-camber corners as well, which yeah, can get a lot of fun in the wet conditions. Druids is coming to mind, because that is a bit of a fun zone, even in the dry conditions. Stephen Ty just going out, having more fun, just enjoying himself at the moment, as is Hignett, who goes around for another little enjoyable lap there. But, you know, I mean, gotta love wet weather here. It really does spice things up. Even just this first couple of corners here through into Dentons and Cascades, it's so difficult in the wet. And,
they've all got their TC off now. They're just going for a drift.
Get on them. This is what we like to see. The fun is occurring now out on track. Seeing what they can do. TC0. And I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't do much better. You know, TC0 is not my friend.
TC0 in the dry is bad enough.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, but look at Hignett drifting it there around Shoals corner, nearly saving it too.
Take a screenshot of that. I mean, that's an action shot if I've ever seen one.
Oh, you should have seen some of the drifts last night in the Jag in the Spec Series.
I can imagine.
Lucas Burrs was drifting around a hell of a lot. I think Hignett was drifting around towards the end. Then you had Rakhmat, who won last night in the combined split. He drifted a few times, especially going through Druid's corner.
That really is impressive. I mean, honestly, we should be taking screenshots of this. It's fantastic. We just had 2 cars going through Hislop sideways, which is, you know, optimal.
Certainly. But yeah, 3 minutes of this fun to go, and then we'll get ourselves settled in nicely for what will be a 60-minute race, I believe.
Yes, 60 minutes, and we have 2 mandatory pit stops as well. So, hello pit entry and exit, which always creates a bit of fun. It's not as bad as some other tracks out there, of course, but yes, that pit exit can be a little bit tricky sometimes. Oh, Stephen. Oh, Hignett did get on the brake, so, you know, saved ourselves a little accident there. Yes, two mandatory pit stops for them to navigate on. That's, you know, going to be good in the wet in a way, but you know, we might have some drying conditions over an hour race for all we know at this stage.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Looking down in the bottom right-hand corner, it does look like the rain will be easing up in 30 minutes, but I think it's going to be a bit changeable for this race.
Next conditions, Oulton Park. Oh yes, looking forward to that very much. Welcome in, of course, to everyone's chat. Lovely to have you in here. From Twitch, you got Eternal Orbit saying, hey, welcome in. Got Craig Dale, Chris Cooley, Firelord Racing, Dirty 20 Gaming, Loudest Howard, got Graint as well. Welcome in. Craig saying, good to see the boys testing out how many spins are needed to create tyre temps. Yes, indeed. Testing, this is testing.
Yes, definitely testing. Testing the dry tyres for tyre temperature. Of course, if you're on the wets, you just max those pressures out and you're good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that. Oh man, that's. I guess thank you, Kunos. Is that what we say to that? But yeah,
it is certainly one of the things of all time.
Yeah. It's so for those of you who haven't heard about how that works, you basically in the wet you just run 35 psi into tires, and things happen.
It miraculously does not overheat the tires, but it creates so much more grip and turn and everything.
Exactly, which is not how that's supposed to work.
No, not at all. If you run max pressures normally, your tires should basically be balloons and just pop at any sort of like contact with the tarmac.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you go out of the pit lane and you have to reset back in. That's how that's supposed to work.
Yes.
And I suppose that I've heard as well that it's quite good in the mixed conditions as things dry out. And again, they don't pop. You know?
Yep.
Who knows things? This is and of course we do have the ACC servers down as well, so we're running the LAN server at the moment. I think Glenn will have an announcement for the split red chaps coming up right after this. But of course, yes, we do have 19 seconds remaining of this epic fun and beautiful scenes out on track. Then we've got 60-minute race, and then we'll be handing over the commentary booth to 2 more commentary legends for split red. So a couple of good hours, 2.5 hours-ish of excellent OR sprint racing out here tonight for everyone. Before we jump into, I think next week, we've got the final round 5. Sort of still to be determined in a lot of ways. I think it's Laguna Seca being voted on, or is that just the Spec Series? Both. It's both. Okay, so it's Laguna Seca, next week for round 5. Fantastic track that I haven't
You
driven,
love
so
to see it.
Yeah, you do. I definitely want to be out on track for that one.
I will jump in, guys, if I may, for a minute.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've just put a, just for all the Split Red guys that may be watching, I've put a notice in the Split Red chat. We will be using the private server option if Kunos don't pull finger and get their servers up in time. The issue I have is that we can only run one private server at a time on this server, and so I can't bring it up until blue finishes. So practice on the practice servers if you can get to them. No, you can't get to them either, can you? Well,
Nope.
you're going to be light on for practice, aren't you, boys?
Yeah, go race against the AI for a little bit.
Yes, it might have to be that. We'll see how we go.
We will. So thank you for that, Glenn. Yeah.
All right.
So well, yeah.
Where rain?
Oh, rain not here.
Rain gone.
Okay.
Sad.
Ah, sad indeed. Okay, well, that's a little bit of a shame.
I'm disappointed.
I am disappointed too because Oulton
Restart
Park
the
was
server.
Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah. Sorry, guys, it's a scratch red flag due to good weather conditions. There'll be no racing in these dry conditions.
This is not a realistic representation of Britain.
I can confirm that. I can confirm that. You know, this is not realistic. So the immersion.
Because I mean, 18 degrees. What? That would be a heat wave in the UK, would it not?
Close to, yeah. I mean, if there admittedly has been more hot days like this in British summer, so admittedly that's probably fairly realistic. But you know, if it's not raining, it's not England.
That's
Just
it.
as simple as that. Just as simple as that. So, oh well, it is what it is, and looks like for at least half the race we will have dry conditions out there. So everyone who was probably scrambling over their wet setup has just you know, spent 5 minutes doing that instead of having fun with TC0 out on track. So that's a real shame, isn't it?
Yeah. A real shame.
Oh well. Yes, it is for fast conditions. 24 degrees track degrees out there. 1 kilometer an hour winds. There's no wind and no rain. Yeah, I'm absolutely disappointed. Oh well. We'll see how this race progresses. This is Shady Samuel and then Hignett leading us away P1, P2. Then we've got Jeremy Washington in P3 overall, leading the silver class, and then Dion Rama, of course, the 69 car. Nice. Leading us away in the Pro-Am class. Then Stephen Tye, P5, McDonald, P6, Begg in P7, Kwan, P2 overall in Pro-Am, P8 out on the grid. Joshua Vediger in the 999 car, out of position. Absolutely out of position there. No sugar, of course, on that Porsche livery. And then rounding out the top 10, it is Smith in the 566 Ferrari. And that is how things are going to line up at the moment with some contenders definitely out of position. So as you said before, even, you know, regardless of the conditions out there, this was going to be a mixed up grid, which, you know, you'd love to see. It's going to create some excitement out on track as we're about to begin our formation lap. Who are we expecting, do you reckon, Alexis, to dive up the field and gain some positions? Who are we expecting to lose some positions?
Well, I think, given the form that Shea Samuel's been in, I think him being at the front is about right. I'd say the driver that could potentially lose a bit is Dion Rama, just based on the fact that he is that Pro-Am driver who's probably come up a fair few positions just based on the lack of finishing his lap before the weather conditions really started to falter a little bit. In terms of drivers that could work their way up, Josh Vediger, certainly one that will look to move up the grid a bit further.
Yeah, I think it's a good call. Of course, got some calls in the chat as well. Tom Maloney saying Herod to finish P2. So
starting P11. Ooh, that's a big call by Mr. Tom Maloney in chat.
Certainly is. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on Herod. Of course, he is a very, very fast driver, especially that Porsche. Knows how to make it go quick. Pro-Am wise, so Kwan and Lewis are the P1, P2 in the standings for Pro-Am. And I think Dion Rama's fair way down, yeah, sort of towards the bottom of the table.
Dion Rama's had a fair bit of bad luck so far this season with incidents.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to find out where he finished. Yeah, P26 in Watkins Glen. So yes, has not had the luck run his way, unfortunately. But maybe today's the day. can show us all what kind of speed he's able to put out there. But, I mean, if you've got Stephen Ty, Tom McDonald and Begg in behind you, yeah. Keep an eye on the rear vision mirror and the side mirrors, because they're going to be coming at you quick.
Yeah, Stephen Ty especially will be wanting to push his way up, of course, sitting P2 in the standings at the moment, wants to make up as much ground as he can on Shady Sound, but they're starting to go double file as we're getting ready to set off for this race here at Park.
Certainly are. Through Druids we go. Keep an eye on this corner, of course. It's going to be a lot of fun. It always is at Druids. There's just something about it. Then underneath we go Warwick Bridge and into the final corner, turn 16. Technically not the last corner, it's the penultimate corner, Lodge corner, but it is the last significant bend in the road. Another tricky one. Lots of people like to late apex this because that's kind of how the corner is laid out. But there we go, and the grid will be lined up 60 minutes ahead of us, and it's going to be a good one. So buckle up because we're about to get started. Shady Samuel will lead us away from the Boatley of Hignett. About to go green here at Oulton Park for round 4 of the Simrigs Sprint Series Split Blue, and that is a green flag out on track. And we are racing. Into the first corner we go. Oh, someone has been tagged already. That was Joshua Vediger. Off goes Deanne Rama immediately. So that's a terrible start for Deanne Rama. That has let Jeremy Washington get away with things. And we've got Tom McDonald and Stephen Ty side by side. Stephen Ty gets run out wide. He's on the gravel. Oh dear, that's a disaster for Stephen Ty. And he's going to drop all the way towards the back of the field. He is in like P20 right now. And that is a disaster for the start of his race. Just side by side, got a little bit pushed out there, trying to battle his way around McDonald, who had got the inside line. Oh, a bit more contact. Through we go. Oh, this is a great start. Absolutely stunning stuff. And Hignett has taken the lead from Shady Samuel.
A Bentley in the lead of a race. I have not seen that for a very, very long time. And Shady Samuel's under a lot of pressure now. Jeremy Washington's having to fight this. Although that's a bit of movement there from Shady Samuel. He doesn't want to be moving too many times in a straight line.
And there goes the tyres. Already the Boatley has said, no thank you, I do not want that, and sends it flying onto the front windshield of Shady Samuel just to add that little bit of extra challenge there. But yes, you're right, that was a tricky one for Jeremy Washington, had to really back out of it. McDonald up to P4 already, Begg in P5. Kwan has had a stunning start there, taking advantage of the chaos out on track in the first lap. And Kwan leading Pro-Am Championship and 6th overall. Joshua Vediger up a few positions as well. And into the final few corners we do go for the first time. Not a bad first lap for some. For some, that was not the ideal situation.
Certainly not, but Hignett's gotten away to a good start. Shady Samuel want to recover a little bit of ground. Jeremy Washington and Tom McDowell just holding in there. Begg up there in P5. Be pretty happy with the start he had, just managing to stay out too much trouble, although there was that little bit of contact with McDonald, which was probably lucky not to turn McDonald around there at the hairpin at the Shell's corner.
Yeah, I agree with that. And then, of course, that was what led to Stephen Ty being run slightly out of road. And it really sucks when you get onto the gravel in a situation like that, especially onto the straight of Lakeside. It's pretty much the longest run of straight track we've got here at Oulton Park. Oulton Park, there we go. I'll pronounce it right one day. You know, I can't even pronounce English names, says the guy with a British accent. But I agree with your sentiment. Nice to see the Boatley leading the way. And away he goes. Hignett, of course, fast contender in this race. And with that car, they do take a lot of the apex there, don't they? And there too. I mean, it's definitely the optimal line, if you can get it. But you will dirty up your tyres slightly as well. So it's not necessarily ideal.
No, definitely. I mean, it is fast, but as you said, it will hurt the tyres in the long term. But yeah, having cars that are normally not favoured in the lead of this race is all just thanks to that BOP that we're running, thanks to LFM, the suppliers of the BOP that we are running tonight.
Yeah, it's working beautiful. It really, really is. And yeah, Bentley in the lead, leading a McLaren. Yep, you wouldn't have seen that about 6 months ago. So, you know, nice to see overall. We've got Stratford leading the Pro-Am, the AM class at the moment. So he's had a good start as well. Herod has slipped one place, unfortunately. I know, I think he started in P12, didn't he?
He started P11, so he has slipped one place.
One place for Herod. So Tom Maloney, his prediction so far. Not happening, but there is 56 minutes left on the clock, so we will see. Stephen
Both
Tyer's
of his
climbed-
predictions would be failed because he also then changed it to Herod P3, Ty P2.
So there's a chat curse coming in for Tom Maloney. He's going to be pinged for that one. He's saying still on. Yeah, it's still on. No, that's exactly
Yeah,
right.
Herod's
55
got
minutes.
back up into P11.
Yeah, oh, there we go, yeah. So he's got to chase after Apreciado now. So Porsche versus Porsche. But this top four starting to break away a little bit, and Beg's just trying to hold onto the back of them. I'm sure he'll be able to catch up, but he's had to navigate a little bit of traffic from behind. But yeah, at the moment, these top four absolutely going for it. And I've been impressed with Jeremy Washington all season long. Has really driven like he owns the silver class, and he's certainly been showing that. Showing that again today. Of course, fantastic livery, and in the Aston Martin. So, you know, Boatley, McLaren, Aston Martin, and a Ferrari in there as well. It's a good top four.
Certainly is, and yeah, that Benetton Aston Martin is just beautiful. Now Washington's driving equally as great as Hicknett sets a 33.4 for the fastest lap of the race. But Washington showed pace in the F1 series as well, so it's great to see that he's showing equally as good pace. Oh dear, that was close for Scani there on the Lamborghini of Stratford.
Wow. That was very, very close. Scani has made up 7 positions so far and sort of went for a move there. There was lucky there was a gap in between those two cars about the size of an Aston Martin, because any longer in that car, if that was a Bentley, I think he would have seen some contact there. That was a fantastic little sequence though. Crikey, that was close.
Maybe a little too close.
Yes,
So,
I think there was a heart and throat moment there for everyone.
Scani will be a little bit shaken, not stirred from that one.
Oh, yes, he will indeed. That's right. Yep, he is gunning for the cars ahead, of course, and with a license to kill. Not a license to crash, of course. A license to you know, a license to overtake. Let's put it that
it
way.
wouldn't really be a license to kill either, because I don't think anyone here has a license to kill. That's kind of against the sporting regulations of Octane Online Racing.
Yeah, section 39, paragraph 5C. You do not have the license to kill other players out on track. Good, okay, good. I'm glad we
Oh dear, it seems my reaction to that was not received very well by a few in chats.
Yeah. Hey, come on, give us a break here in the commentary box. We're allowed to have a little bit of fun. But the battle continues. Slade now on the back of Stratford and absolutely sending it in the Ferrari.
2 seconds. Hicknett has dropped down to P5.
Oh, okay. Hicknett has had a big issue then. Maybe we can pull up a replay of that. Hopefully Glenn can sort that out for us. But I get the feeling that's an off-track excursion, Alexis. Just judging by what we're seeing. I don't see any damage necessarily on the car, but you know, if you drop 4 positions, you've had an off-track.
Either an off-track or just a little bit of a nudge somewhere, maybe on the rear, but looks all pretty clear, so maybe yeah, he's just gotten a little bit of pressure from Shady Sammy behind and is folded to that pressure.
Boatley, no! Boatley, no! Well, we'll see Hickman be able to fight back. He's still got the fastest lap at the moment, and he's not actually too far behind McDonald at the stage, so just needs to put that pace back on, get the car going. Again, doesn't look like he's holding a huge amount of damage, so the car should be pretty stable. As stable goes, it's almost a bit weird saying that with regards to a Bentley. But, you know, the car is very oversteery. So, you know, one little throttle input that was just a little bit too much. And as you said, with the pressure of a McLaren behind, which can be very stable at tracks like this, yeah, he might have just slightly overcooked it. We'll see if we can bring up a replay at some point.
Replay.
Oh, here we go. Okay. So, Alexis, step us through this one.
Yeah, so let's take a look through here. Car's looking pretty oh, he just gets loose there at Druids.
There we go. The first victim of Druids from what we can tell. And yeah, so no damage on the car. Like, he's actually recovered that quite nicely. But yeah, the car just got all sorts of out of shape. And they had to fight off another McLaren here.
That is Grant Begg's actual livery that he's meant to be running.
Oh, yes, it is.
Because it seems that there's been a little bit of an issue with his livery in the actual thing, which is odd.
Yes, indeed. Well, it's good to see the Monster Energy McLaren make a return to the grid, because I do really, really like that livery. Livery. Chat, I'm sure you can chew me out for that one. Yeah, no, Hickner, that was a nice little battle. Managed to get it all done, tied it up before the end of turn 1, and got himself back ahead of Grant Begg there. So quite a nice little recovery, I have to admit, for Hickner. Just a real shame that he did make that unfortunate mistake. Joshua Bediger looking for a move. Doesn't quite get that done, unfortunately. And he's got Kwan ahead of him. So Kwan has done really well so far in his BMW. So the 14 car, Alonso's race number, or Kwan's favourite number, probably, more likely. Up in P6 right now and leading Pro-M class. That's very tidy so far.
Yeah, doing very well is Kwan, of course, capitalised a little bit on the misfortunes of Dan Rama, who is now all of a sudden disappeared off the leaderboard.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully that's not a disconnect.
It looks like a disconnect. I cannot see Dan Rama's name anywhere in the grid right now, and we are down to 22. Oh, dear.
No!
Oh, that's unfortunate. Yeah, we did see that the Dan Rama was running quite a high ping, so maybe just something on the network side just did not want to work out, and unfortunately, Dan Rama's gone from P3 on the grid all the way down to not in this race, which is quite quite the drop down the grid, unfortunately. Disconnects, you do hate to see it, you really do.
Every time there's a disconnect, it just breaks your heart.
It does, yeah. You never want to see it. And we saw a few of those in the 24 hours as well. And that was, you know, in a way, even more heartbreaking after such a long period of time racing with all the drivers involved. And to see disconnects happening in any endurance setting or in any race, it is heart-wrenching to see. Joshua Vediger here, 999 car. I think he's missed out on a race or two this season so far, but he's in it at the moment. And Jan Rama gets a penalty for causing a collision lap 3. So that will be applied to no one out on grid. But the ghost penalty being applied there to a car that is no longer on the grid.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. It doesn't happen very often, but it happens as Vediger's coming under a lot of pressure here from Smith, who's having a really good run out there at the moment. Has thrown a fair chunk of paces. Hicknett is biting the bullet early. He's in.
Yes, he is. It's probably a smart move from Hicknett, because he'll be running with a little bit of dirty air ahead of him, and with a catch-up to do. I think he's just thinking, look, I can get out there, fresh tyres, you know, probably cook them a little bit with that mistake at Druids. And you know, if he gets out there, get some clean air, he can put in those fast laps, and maybe try and do a little bit of an undercut on the cars ahead. Of course, he did have McDonald, Watkington, and Samuel ahead of him, and that was threading the needle. Holy moly! Okay, Grant Begg has had a huge off there, but threaded the needle, went through to the other barrier. Wow! I hope we can get a replay of what's happened to Grant Begg. He's not somehow lost a position. No, yes, he has.
It will be a big chunk of damage on there. You can see the bonnet is up, and he's going to need to come into the pits right away.
That was a spectacular accident. Wow. And yeah, look at the front of that McLaren. It is broken. There's no other word for it. The car is broken.
Wise words of Lando Norris is broken.
It's broken. Yeah, that's right. Oh, man. Threaded the needle, though. I've got to give it to Grant Begg there. He did thread the needle between those two barriers very, very nicely. In a way, that's probably saved him some time out on track. Definitely not something I condone. Runs wide at Druids. Through goes Herod. And now he'll be under pressure for more Porsches in the back of the Preciado there. And Lewis, and side by side into the last corner, Lodge corner. And he's going to be coming across. He's going to have to get on the brakes. Yes, he does. Okay, smart driving there from Begg. Hopefully we can bring up a replay of that. I think this might be the replay right here. So let's see what's happened, Alexis.
Yeah, so he's just going to run a little bit wide coming through Island Bend. Oh, no, he's hit the inside curb. Hit the inside curb. Brake. And he's... oh, my Lord.
That's really impressive to thread the needle like that. The car is you're a passenger at that stage. Yeah, please, let's go again with this. Thank you, Glenn. Get another camera angle on this. Fantastic.
This is just unbelievable. Like, yeah, he just hits the inside curb a little strangely and brake, get through the gap, and he's done it somehow.
That's
to be fair, he was lucky there was no cars there. Otherwise, it probably would have been better if he had just bitten the bullet and gone for the inside barrier before the corner.
Well, it's exactly right. I mean, this is why we cannot condone this kind of line to save yourself, because there often are cars ahead. So, I think, whether Beg was aware or not, he's obviously aware that he's got some space around him. He would probably be pretty close to the car behind at that stage, which was Herod. But no, he managed to get through there okay this time. But crikey, what a moment. That curb, it is dangerous, because if you clip that just in the wrong way, there's a couple of ways to clip that in the wrong way, and yeah, you'll find yourself out. Hung out to dry by that corner quite happily. Nice little gaggle of cars approaching here. Some sideways actions as well. Love to see it. And Stephen Ty into the pits.
In all of that, we've seen a 15-second penalty for Lee Perkins. Not sure what it was for. I'd suggest it was for causing a collision.
Yeah, I think it was for causing a collision. So that might have, because it was on the same lap that Dian Rama got given a penalty for as well. So I wonder if there's been a bit of a larger incident some stage during lap 3. You might be able to get a replay of that as well. It would be good to see it. But nonetheless, yeah, as you said, Perkins, the 33 car, another Ferrari, and getting a penalty there, 15 seconds. That's going to hurt a little bit. First pit stops have happened, and I suspect we'll see a few more happening in the next 5 minutes or so. A lot of people will be thinking with 2 pit stops, just a 20-20 minute. So basically third strategy here over 60 minutes. Hignett is already out of the pits, of course, and starting his charge back. Should come out ahead of Stephen Ty as well. That's just happened now, so Hignett's gone through on track. But all eyes at the moment, as we are with our cameras, on Eric Scarney up at the P12 now, and running third in the silver category. So it's not actually turning out too badly for Scarney at the moment. He'll just have to find a way past these 4 cars ahead. This is a nice little group moving up towards P6, Smith, who has found a way to get past Herod, interestingly.
Was already past Herod. He was
already, okay.
It was with Vediger as Vediger comes into the pits.
Oh, yeah, okay, right. Yeah, thank you for clarifying that. Cool, so, yeah, that's pretty decent. 43 minutes on the clock. Round for lap 10 we go. Being led away. This is a good little battle going on here. Lamborghini gets a little bit on the grass on the apex of turn 1. Might be slightly compromised. Replay on its way. So here we go. Let's have a little look and see what's happened here.
This will be what happened with Perkins causing a collision. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh no! Okay.
What is that?
Yep, that was a door that was always going to close. It did close. And who was involved in that? That's oh, that was Dian Rama there. No, I don't think that's Dian Rama. That's an
Dian
Aston
Rama's
Martin.
a McLaren.
Yeah.
GPS outdoors. No, you just need to catch a number, I think, and should be able to.
Let's see if we can catch this.
Take a
We'll
look.
see who went through as we do give another
change the
fastest.
car.
Sure, we will find out. Thank you, Glenn. Yes. There we go. Yeah, we did have another fastest lap set by Shady Samuels. So Shady is on an absolute charge at the moment. They came together. Oh! So, okay.
Oh, no, that's Stratford. That is our M class leader.
Yep, and he is beached now out of turn 16.
That was quite unlucky there for Stratford, I think.
Yeah. There was almost nothing in that contact, wasn't there?
There was a bit in it, but I'm not sure how much of that was contributed by Stratford.
Yeah, well, he was on the inside. It looks like he had the pass done. Then the Porsche on the outside just seemed to run out of room, really.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to take a better look at it. Oh no, and Stratford's missed his box as well.
Yes, he has, and he will be repairing a fair bit of damage because, fortunately, he did sort of careen off into a barrier, and that means that front of that Lamborghini not looking healthy at all. So this actually will elevate Hayden Marsh up into the AM class lead as it stands right now. Hayden Marsh still to do his pit stops, and this will obviously be 1 down or Stratford, and Stratford's been showing some pace, was running up in the top 10 there until that incident.
Yeah, no, Stratford was doing really well, so he can consider himself very unlucky, but take a lot of pride in how he drove that first stint for the most part.
Absolutely. Into the pits comes our leader, Shady Samuel. So he will be getting a new fresh set of tyres on, most likely. Although there's an interesting thing. I mean, this is probably a question for a more experienced racer like yourself, Alexis. In a race like this, there is a mandatory tyre change, but if there wasn't, you wouldn't be changing tyres, right?
In a short race like this, no, you probably wouldn't be changing tyres. You would likely just go the full distance because changing tyres takes 30 seconds at a time, and I don't think you're going to get that much per lap.
No, that's right. Yeah, so I think we do have mandatory tyre requirements for each of these pit stops, so they do have to stop for the full 30 seconds, but...
Yes.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. I wonder if that'll be switched up at some point. Maybe Series 16 will see some pit strategies involving no tyre change. I think that could be quite interesting to see people run a single set of tyres through an entire race. Maybe just worrying a bit more about how they fuel the car instead. But anyway, I digress. I will continue to dream and probably pester the admins in the background. But we will see. Out of the course now, Stratford comes out of the pits. Lamborghini looking fresh as anything. And a 10-second penalty for Wilkie Apreciado in the number 11 car for causing a collision on lap 11. And that, I believe, was the contact with this man right here.
Okay, so getting word from Gwen that it was actually Muriel who was involved in the contact with Perkins, and Muriel ended up leaving the server not too long after that. And we are about to get a bit of insight into what happened to Dian Rama, as Apreciado now also has a drive-through penalty for track limits.
Ouch.
But here is what happened to Dian Rama.
So into the hairpin area we go.
Oh, dear.
Oh, and then...
And how's this rejoin? How's this rejoin? How's the rejoin? Okay.
It's okay, the rejoin, but...
Oh, no.
Wants to hold the position.
Oh.
Hold on. Yeah, we think there's more involved here. So we've got 2 rejoins so far. One was good, one was bad, and
It was Druids.
Yeah. So the Mercedes ahead, maybe a little slow, but DM Rama did not account for that at all, and straight into the back, unfortunately, to the number 7 car, Brimblecombe, getting taken out. And that Stephen Ty in the background there, also getting a bit of front bumper damage. So yeah, in chat, people saying bonk. Yes, that was a bonk.
Bonk.
It was a Druid's bonk. Yeah. So that's very unfortunate there for Brimblecombe. A bit of a passenger involved in that incident. There was a bit of fighting going on, but that was quite the sequence of events there for DM Rama. All started through the hairpin section and just took that second part of the hairpin not particularly pleasantly, and the car just got all sorts of out of shape. First rejoin was okay. Second rejoin, not okay, in my opinion. But there was not a huge amount of area to go if you do run off there. So it's a tricky one.
Certainly is, yeah. And we're getting word in that the servers are now back up.
Oh, that's good news.
So,
Okay.
Split Red, you are safe.
You are safe, and prepare for an incoming announcement from your broadcast director and the man himself, Glenn. I'm sure he'll be posting at some point in the Discord, or he might even jump back in here. There we go. So Split Red, you can jump into your server now and enjoy. Oh, it's not up yet. Okay, well, it will be up soon. And then
Yeah, they can at least get some practice in before then. We'll get 15 minutes time. The Split Red servers will open as normal. There you go.
There we go. And this is why I'm a commentator and not part of the broadcast. So Shady Samuel in P3 at the moment. He's got 2 ahead of him, Washington and Quan, who have yet to pit. Washington is now in the pits. So this is all starting to go through their first pit stop with 36 minutes remaining on the clock. So your leader at the moment still Shady Samuel, and he's got quite a gap over McDonald at this stage. So Shady Samuel kind of running away with things a little bit at the moment.
Be interesting to see what happens though. Has Hignet's gotten past McDonald on the split, and now we're just gonna... Oh no, he's around!
Oh.
It's Gruins again!
Oh no! So were they side by side through there? They might well have been.
Potentially, but we'll see where Washington comes out in all of this now as Shady Samuel hit. Here we go. No, he was just wide. He was just wide.
It's the exact same incident as before. I mean, he did have a car, staring up his rear bumper this time, but that is deja vu from the first time Hignet went off.
Yep, totally.
It's unlucky for Hignet. So he'll have to do more. The undercut obviously did work quite nicely, but he's going to have to do a lot more now, sitting 2 seconds behind McDonald. And we'll just have to drive the wheels off this Bentley to get himself back into a top 3 position. Was, of course, leading this race for a period of time until we saw the Druids V1 incident and then Druids V2. Unfortunately, more of the same for this man right here.
And what that has done is it's allowed Washington to get out ahead of McDonald. He's only 1.3... No, that looks like it's a little earlier on, maybe.
Yes.
Yes, there we go.
There we go. Yeah, the gap.
Oh, Washington's still ahead of McDonald, but the gap is 7.1. Yeah, it looks better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So 3 seconds between McDonald and Washington. Washington is 7 seconds down the road, or behind Shady Samuel. Nearly identical lap times for Washington and McDonald. So it really is in Washington's ballpark at the moment. If he can keep putting in good lap times around what he's doing now, McDonald might find it a bit of a challenge to catch back up with the Aston Martin driver ahead.
Hashtag Washington for pro.
Yeah, I think we need to start a new campaign here, don't we? There's Scarney. Where is he now? He's in P12, so he's still in P12. He's done one of his pit stops. He's the current campaign that we're focusing on, Scarney for pro. But I think Washington for pro is a good campaign. Yeah.
It's one that I reckon a lot of us could get behind with the performances that he's shown so far this season.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, he's overall in the standings running P4. So he's running ahead of Hignet, running ahead of Joshua Bediger, who admittedly has only raced in 2 races this season so far. Running ahead of Hignet, running ahead of Reynolds, who's also had 2 races. So he's right up there in the pro category area. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, and depending on results tonight, I think if things stay as they are, there's a chance that Washington might move back ahead, if not much closer to where McDonald is in the standings, as the gap between those two at the moment is only 8 points. Yeah,
that's a very good point. Especially if he gets a P2 here, I mean, that's going to be worth a bunch of points. That could actually put him up into P3 if he does get a P2 finish here today.
And with Stephen Ty further down the field, he's in P9 still, but that's a bit further down where you'd expect Stephen Ty. That could make it very spicy for P2 overall in the standings when we come to our final round next week at Laguna Seca.
Yeah, that's a very good point. It does mean, of course, that Shady Samuel will continue to run away with things and will probably end up taking the championship as it stands right now. But, anything can happen at Laguna Seca and at Oulton Park. So a couple of great tracks to round out this fun series at the end of the year. It does make me look forward, of course, to the next series as well. But Laguna Seca is going to be a lot of fun out there. Unlikely to get raid. So this was going to be our raid race here, but unfortunately didn't quite pan out for us. But we've had plenty of action so far anyway. For Quan in the Pro-Am Champs at the moment, this is also a great thing because Steve Lewis is down on P11 and leading Pro-Am Championship. There is 19 points between them. So if Quan can convert this into a P5 finish at the end of this race, he is going to be potentially in the Pro-Am lead as well. So
he will absolutely take the Pro-Am lead. I'd have no doubt about it, I'd say. Just looking at the points difference between P5 and P11 would at the very least be about 20 points.
I agree, yeah. So it's almost certain there. I mean, again, I only say almost certain because you've got to bring the car home. But his pace right now has been fantastic. He's holding off Joshua Vediger. And we all know how fast. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. One for silver. We've got Washington for pro. And then we'll have to find someone in M class for hashtag them for Pro-Am. I think that's going to be our next prediction.
Well, I mean, with the way that Stratford was going earlier on this race, you'd almost put him on for it. But of course, he got a bit unlucky earlier on with the contact.
Yeah, exactly. He's been a bit unfortunate, a bit unlucky throughout the season so far. He's running down in P35 in the standings, so third in Pro-Am overall. Shackelford has been the real contender, but I don't think we've got Shackelford on the grid tonight.
Is not racing tonight, so that would mean Hayden Marsh, who we're currently on board with, would most likely take the AM class lead.
There we go. So running P17 at the moment. How far behind is Stratford? Oh, he's right there. That's his Lamborghini right there. So Hayden Marsh and Stratford in the World Championship battle for the AM class lead at round 4 of Oulton Park.
Indeed, and we are about halfway through this race, so one pit stop down for pretty much all these drivers, except for Brimblecombe has done 2 pit stops. I reckon we'll see most of these drivers come in about that 20-minute mark, just try and split it evenly, 20-20.
That's right. Hayden Marsh here making his Ferrari very, very wide on the road as they go through Druids. And that was a car on the barrier at Druids. And that did look ominously like a blue Mercedes, of which I do know Brimblecombe has a blue Mercedes. That might have been a bit of an issue there. Joshua Vediker coming in for his next pit stop.
Yes, indeed, he is.
Or is that a reset back to the pits?
Yeah, I'm just... Brimblecombe has left.
Oh, wow, yeah. So we are down to 21 drivers in this race now, and Joshua Vediker has come
Vediker has left.
Ah, okay. Yeah, we are losing drivers here rapidly. Oulton Park acting as the sort of a bit of a pit of fire at the moment. Lots of people having issues, so maybe we can find a replay of what's just happened there. I get the feeling that those two, Vediger and Brimblecombe, have potentially come together at Druids.
Oh dear, if that has actually happened, then that would be a big penalty, most likely for Brimblecombe, given he was a few laps down.
Yeah, exactly right. We did see before, Diamrama, on the replay we saw, it was Brimblecombe ahead that was very slow into Druids, and I wonder if that's just caught out not only Diamrama, but also now Joshua Vediger. It is entirely possible. A lot of people take, it's a very, very fast right-hand corner. And if you are going slow through there, people are going to potentially be in a really tricky spot because all of us, I'm sure, have experienced the old put the brakes on a little bit too much at Druids and send the car sideways. That's how that corner basically works.
Yes, that is a pretty common thing at Druids.
Oh, we're going to have a little replay here at the start of the race.
Well, let's just take a quick look at the start as we've got a few technical issues at the moment.
So starting again our 60 minutes here at Oulton Park. Let's go again.
There we go.
There we go. Good stuff. This is just the nature of technical things.
I'm not sure that anything else can go a bit haywire tonight between Kunos and everything else. Anyway, I'm going to turn myself on mute again. Bye.
Well, now you've certainly kinked something.
Glenn, of course, doing a fantastic job in the background, handling multiple computers, the stream, everything that's going on. So yeah, Split Blue just getting a little bit unlucky this week, it seems. The only thing that's lucky for them at the moment is the weather out on track, I suppose. Of course, we were absolutely looking forward to seeing them in the wet. I've got a few in chat saying, making a few comments about Oulton Park, and there's another car off. That does look like Perkins. Yellow Ferrari.
Yeah, number 33, that is Lee Perkins.
Oh dear, so yeah, riding the barrier, or the curve, I should say, into the barrier. He goes. But I think we need to maybe bring up the conversation of do we like Oulton Park? I said at the beginning of the stream that I love this place. It's a favorite circuit of mine. I've driven it many, many times. I really enjoy it. It's very difficult. It's challenging. But maybe we just, get a few opinions. Who likes it? Who dislikes it? Why? Maybe I'll throw that ball into your park first, Alexis.
For a hot lap, I like it. For racing, I hate it. Because there's just no way you can actually make proper moves. As we take a look at what happened to Brimblecombe at Druids, and oh dear, yeah, just onto the grass and bam into the wall.
Yeah, the Druids, Barrier, he's a nice guy, but not one that you want to meet. And I think that's just an immediate reset to pits. Yes, it is. So that was not what we expected. And well, I mean, we thought that maybe Joshua Vediger and Brimblecombe would come together. It doesn't look like that has been the case at all. So I do wonder what happened to Joshua Vediger. We're just trying to find another replay of that. But nonetheless, Quan still in P5. So this is going swimmingly for Quan out here today with 25 minutes on the clock. You're sitting in P5. You're a Pro-Am class driver. Maybe we start the Quan for Silver campaign right now, as you said.
Yeah, certainly. Quan is just driving almost out of his skin right now, although Smith is starting to close, and Smith equally having a very, very solid race.
Some interesting opinions coming through chat. We've got Nick T saying Oulton is good, just not for GT3. I think that's probably an opinion I can get behind. I think GT4 racing here is probably better. Yeah,
I'd tend to agree with that. The GT4s are probably more well suited for them, for the track, just given that they're a little bit smaller, a little bit slower. You have to maximize corners, which is a big component of this track. So I think GT4s do tend to work better around here than GT3s.
Yeah, and then we got Stick Death saying agree, best UK track. There we go. It's a man of my own heart out there. Graham Hill coming in saying great track, only missing a longer straight. Yes, well I think that's exactly. Well, that's definitely part of the, if there was a longer straight here for the GT3 cars, I think it would suit them a bit better. But unfortunately, it's just one of those typically small, tight British tracks,
Was it formerly an airfield, though?
Oh, that's a great question, actually. I'll tell you what, I will do a quick Google and find out, because I feel like it probably was.
Because pretty much every British track used to be an airfield.
Yeah, exactly right. Let's see here. Okay.
And well, again, there's not really a straight that would be long enough to really make for an airstrip, would there?
That's true.
But it's quite mountainous, so.
I mean, I have to admit though, those Spitfires in World War II didn't need a lot of runway to get off the ground, but yeah, it's pretty bumpy out there. I don't think it was. It's not like Silverstone, which has 3 very clear, fairly bumpless, I suppose, straights. I'll tell you what, you take over for a second. I'm just going to quickly Google this and have a little look and find the history of this place.
John in chat saying, if only it was built on an airfield with a straight.
There we go. So I can't see anything here about an airfield. Still taking a little bit of a look here. So it was an 18th century manor house, Oulton Estate, and a formal garden surrounded by Cheshire farmland and farm life, ironically as well. Converted into Oulton Park in the 1940s during the Second World War. They were used as staging camps for the US armies, so under General Patton. So there we go. It wasn't an airfield, but it was used by the military in World War II by the Americans.
I'm having a look through which ones were airfield tracks.
Surely not Brands Hatch.
No. So we have, as Graham's saying in chat, Silverstone, Goodwood, Thruxton, Snetterton. But looking through, I found a website here saying that other ex-airfields use this circuits include Castle Combe at Wiltshire, Croft Autodrome at Darlington, Landau at South Glamorgan, Roughorf, Snetterton, Thruxton, East Knee, Stapleford, Stavanon, Fairford, Bro, Greenham Common. So quite a few that that used to be that are now racetracks.
Excellent. It does seem to be that seems to be the way to do it in Britain. Of course, they have a lot of airfields and fairly flat ground for the most part.
R.I.P. Top Gear test track.
Oh man, please bring that in. I would love, even though it would be awful to race on, it would be hilarious. Please, Kunos, can you introduce Top Gear Test Track? I know that you can race it in the Assetto Corsa. There's a few more people who've modded that. Seen some hilarious videos out there, but I would love to see that in ACC as well. Comment of the evening here: Monza still is an airfield. Yes, because everyone who drives off the track at turn 1 turns into an aircraft.
Yes, and Tom, also with another comment of the night, I now support Spa being turned into an airfield.
Yeah, yeah. I think you could turn that into a space launch center, given the way that Overasian Radion works.
Yes. Well, I mean, there have been quite a few cars that have launched up there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, becoming part of the space program. We've got a replay here of Joshua Vediger.
Guys, I'm just jumping in. I have no idea what's happened to Joshua here. He started to lose some time to Kwan in front, but then you'll see he just slows right down here. The gear.
Oh dear.
First gear. Oh no, so he got the second, got the first. Okay.
That looks like hardware failure.
Yeah, some kind of gearing problem.
That's unfortunate.
Your eagle eyes got that. Well done. That'll be
well done, Alexis.
Because I could see he was going slow and he wasn't able to shift up out of first for quite a while there. So that had to be some kind of hardware failure.
Yep.
Oh, that's really unfortunate as we see Steve and Ty come into the pits and nearly go to the back of Perkins. Well, that was very close. So really unfortunate there for Joshua Vediger. A hardware failure on his side, it does appear to be. And that'll be him out of the race. Unfortunately, a few laps to go. And as we digressed into the history of this fantastic place, Shady Samuel still leads us away. Ben Hignett has come into the pits for his second pit stop. Is now back out on track. Very sunny out there now, so nice and clear. You can see all your braking zones, which is super handy around a place like this. And he'll be on the charge now and trying to get out ahead and try and find his way back into that top 3 who have yet to do their second pit. So another undercut being undertaken here by Hignett. We'll see if he's able to pull off another few fast laps.
As long as he doesn't run off at Druids again.
I mean, it'll be one. Do it again. You're gonna hear deja vu, triple deja vu. Yeah, exactly right. So we all have to say a little prayer here for Hignett, and hopefully he can keep the Bentley on track through Druids for the remainder of this race. 18 minutes ago though, so he'll be skirting the danger. I think we'll keep the camera on him because I want to see what happens. But so far, in every stint that he's done out there, he has made an identical mistake in Druids, and let's see if he makes another one.
As Shady Samuel's in.
There we go. So our leader does come into the pit lane for the final time. Into Druids we go, on board. That looks conservative. I'm going to be honest with you, that looks a little conservative.
Now, Tom asking the big questions in chat. Would people rather 24 hours of Brands Hatch or Oulton Park in an unbopped McLaren?
Oh, don't ask Sean Muller that question, because we all know the answer to that. I don't know. I think I'd prefer Oulton Park, if I'm honest with you. But what does everyone else think?
Either of them are really great options.
No, it's the lesser of two evils, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh dear. Yeah, that's a tricky question, I have to admit. I have to agree also with Graham Hill saying Thruxton would be a great track to add in here. Yeah, I would love to see some more of these British tracks added in. That'd be great. But there's so many tracks from around the world that you could add in to ACC.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've gotten the British GT DLC, we've got the American GT DLC. So, what do they have left? They have Asia, Australia. Do they have? Would they add any South American tracks? Would they just? I don't know.
I think it'd be worth them considering a South American DLC. Yeah, I think there's a few tracks down that way. I mean, I'd still be all for an obscure British GT track DLC.
Well, I mean, they do kind of have to follow whatever the calendars are, so...
They do, yeah. Well, this is the problem, isn't it? I mean, it's you know, you've got to get the licenses first in GT World Challenge, and then only then will it start to filter into ACC, unfortunately. But I mean, look, at least we're getting Nordschleife, so
yes.
You know, can't complain about GT2 cars, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they've been slowly announcing GT2 cars.
Well, I am actually really looking forward to that. So, you know, I've had the pleasure of driving all the different classes available in ACC, and I enjoy them all. But, you know, a faster car, GT2 cars, I think that would be exciting. That's a little bit of lag. I was about to say someone's gone off track there. There's just a little bit of latency. Not quite sure who that was. But, yeah, I think I don't know. I'm looking forward to the GT2. But Nordschleife, at the end of the day, I'm pumped for Nordschleife.
Certainly, yeah. And that's a prime candidate for a 24-hour race as Jeremy Washington comes into the pits, as does McDonald.
Got one NE in chat saying Sepang. Yeah, well, that is on the official GT World Series list, isn't it? But
well,
yeah.
that would be under GT World Challenge Asia.
Yes, it would. Yeah.
I mean, there's quite a few tracks in Asia and Australia that they could add that would be fantastic in ACC. But I just want Phillip Island.
Oh, that's not even a question.
Just give me Phillip Island and I'm happy. Oh, please, no.
Oh my goodness.
Caution.
Yes,
Chris
please.
Murphy with Fuji in chat. Yeah, that's a good shout too.
That is actually a good shout. Yeah. Especially with the GT2 class. If they bring in the GT2 class, you know, having the ability to go to somewhere like Fuji where you can really exercise.
Oh,
the
yeah.
stars. Oh, that'd be great.
I mean, Fuji in general is just a fantastic track.
Yeah, very, very true. I mean, it's a difficult one. Like, you know, put your hand up in chat. Fuji versus Suzuka. I don't think I can really separate them because they're both great tracks.
Both of them are really, really good, and they've shown that they can produce great races in pretty much any category you throw at them.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, little bit of traffic going on here. Nope,
sorted pretty well, I'd say, given where that McLaren was positioned.
Yeah, it's not a particularly pleasant place. You get a blue flag or let one pass. Stratford does let pass. Higner, just nearly cut back in, but does quite nicely there, stay out of the way. Stratford has gotten back past Hayden Marsh, so that's the AM class lead back to Stratford for the moment. Higner on his charge currently, and everyone's on their pit stops now. Alexis, everyone's pitted.
Woohoo!
There we go. The
and
milestone.
8 minutes spare. Oh, you love to see it. I get a bit antsy when drivers leave to 5 minutes to go.
Yes, yeah. I've unfortunately made that mistake myself once. And then I ran out of fuel as well.
Oh!
Yeah, ironically it was at this track. It was my first OOR race in the... I think I went straight into Sprint Series, which was probably a mistake. I probably should have been in Rockies for at least a season. But yes, that was an absolute disaster. So one to learn from was the lesson from that one. Do not run out of...
I think the only time I've run out of fuel in an ACC race was at Bathurst. I managed to just crawl across the line, but ever since then I've made sure I've overfueled the car so I don't run out of fuel.
Yeah, exactly. That sounds like a small margin, though, for the most part. I mean, you know, that's the whole thing. Like, you know, take whatever you need plus 3 liters.
Yes.
Generally the rule. But yes, I think I was somewhere in the order of 20 liters out of the fuel for that one. So it was a big mistake, a big learn.
But looking at the chat, there's a lot of great tracks. Most from the Japanese circuits. You've got Fuji, Tsukuba, Okayama, Sugo. Yes, I was about to say Sportland Sugo was definitely probably a bit of an underrated track almost.
Yeah, I'd say so, yeah. Okayama would be a great one. That would be great fun. Tsukuba, I'm not quite sure if that would work, though. I mean, it's not a GT3 style track. It's very short.
I mean, it's a GT track if you're talking about Gran Turismo.
Yeah.
It is one of the most iconic tracks to be racing on in Gran Turismo, that's for sure.
I will say it's one of the most fun by far. That and the fact that they've got Nordschleife. There we go again on the Nordschleife bumps. But no, Tsukuba, and especially when you get the Mazda Roadsters at Tsukuba, just an epic combo. And yeah, there's some great racing around there, admittedly. But I've driven around there in Gran Turismo 7 in the group for what they call GR3 cars. Not
Oh,
to be
yeah.
mistaken for GT3 cars.
Yeah.
Mostly due to the sound, but I digress. And it's not a pleasant experience. Let's just put it that way. It's just not enough track, and the car's too fast.
Yeah, getting a few of the American tracks listed off now. You've got the Daytona Road Course. You've got Lime Rock, Road Atlanta, Mid Ohio. Oh, here we go.
Oh, this is it. So
He's got the inside line there on McDonald. McDonald is squeezing him to the inside as they go and Tesla up chicane, and there's contact again. That's Bumpin is racing. Hignett, oh, he has to back out of it. Oh dear, that was a fair bit of bumping there.
certainly was. That was a right decision though for Hignett to get out of that. Looks like he went pretty deep into that chicane complex there as well, and then towards Druids we go. Cameraman will catch up eventually. Hignett gets through safely this time. That's good news, and McDonald's will be under pressure once again as we head towards the final corner. Dodge corner, let's go through it. See, it's a shallow line there from McDonald. This is going to give Hignett the run. No, gets a bit squiggly on exit. Too much power down on that Bentley. Gets a little bit oversteery. Heading towards turn one now. That was quite the sequence. But yeah, both of them just trying to outbrake each other, really. And it just, you know, at some point McDonald had to turn in. Wow. Counter steer.
That was a swapper right there for Benjamin Hignett. But all this fighting is doing is allowing Jeremy Washington to break away into what will pretty much be a certain second place, provided he does not screw up from here.
Exactly right. But, you know, with 9 minutes on the clock, anything can really happen at a place like Oulton Park.
Yes, but it's getting sunny, which is strange for England.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, again, the weather in England has been changing rapidly in years, in years past, but it's just not, you don't usually see Oulton Park in these conditions, so it's kind of nice in a way. It looks a lot brighter than it usually is.
Yeah, it makes the track actually look good.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You can actually see your braking markers. You know, everyone's gotten used to training around this circuit by sound of the revs on the gears that they're in. But no longer. You can actually see the braking markers, which is rather handy. Into Druids we go again. Looks pretty smooth for both of them. Oh, man. I'm just terrified now for Hignett through there.
Yeah, you get a bit antsy when Hignett runs through there. He's looking very loose in that Bentley. But worth noting, Scani is in the top 10.
Oh, okay. Hashtag Scotty for Pro is back on.
And Slade, who was well down earlier on in this race, is now up in a P9.
Oh, that's solid work from Slade, actually. So Pro-Am category there. 2 Pro-Ams in the top 10. 3 silver drivers in the top 10. McDonald's run wide. McDonald has run very, very wide at Cascades, and that has let Hignett go on through for the top 3 spots. Oh, that's a disaster for McDonald. And it still looks like he might have just hit that awkward bump into Cascades ever so slightly the wrong way, and the Ferrari did unfortunately launch him to the outside of the track. Onto the grass he did go, just like we saw Stephen Ty do on lap 1. So that is unfortunate for him.
Yeah, really, really unlucky there for McDonald. He was doing pretty well, but may have just folded to the pressure slightly. Just that minor mistake that has cost him that position now, and Hignett will try his best to chase after Washington, but I don't think he'll be able to do much about it.
Oh, it's like sideways he goes through the exit of Hislops there. Yeah, no, the Ferrari's looking all out of shape now. He's kind of cooked the tyres slightly as Shady Samuel sets another fastest lap despite being 17 seconds ahead. He is still out there pushing in these very warm circuit conditions.
Stop, they're already dead.
Exactly. Oh, nearly cooks it there again. Yeah, McDonald's trying his hardest, but as you said, those tyres are absolutely at the end of, well, not necessarily end of their life, but they're hot. They're cooked, exactly. They're not going to be providing a lot of grip for the next 6 minutes.
No. McDowell will just have to hold station and hope he doesn't lose any further time to Quan behind, who has had a magnificent race, although Smith is all over his rear bumper.
Well, that's exactly right. Actually, the fastest lap between Quan and McDonald goes to Quan, 33.0. McDonald's fastest lap of 33.3. So actually there's potential here, but, you know, Quan's going to have to put in his fastest lap times for the next 6 minutes and some to catch up. So I don't think that's happening.
And there's a fair bit of traffic ahead, plus Smith is right there, so Quan can't really make too many mistakes at this stage.
This is a nice little battle evolving. That was a slidey moment on the exit, but he does get through quite nicely through Britons, and over the hilltop we go into the big braking zone. Of course, it is a downhill there. Can be tricky to get the car stopped. We did see that between McDonald and Hignett a couple of laps ago, although they were really just fighting each other to see latest. Neither of them yielded at all, hence the contact they did come into. But Quan here, yeah, he's got a bit of work to do. Smith looking pretty quick out there.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how this last 5 minutes plays out. It looks like it's the tightest battle on track at the moment. There is a little bit of a battle between Ashley Vediger and Shogun, and then there's maybe another battle further down between Stratford and Webb. But we'll stay on board with Quan for the moment as we are into the last 5 minutes of this race.
Yes, we are. Track conditions, we've actually lost a degree Celsius out there, but it is just clocking over 4 p.m. out on the track, so it is getting towards that sort of late afternoon time. Wide goes Quan. Does manage to hold the position. This will give Smith the run, though. Just going to try the inside line.
No.
He's going to close. Oh.
You do not do it there. I'm sorry, but you just do not do it there.
Yes, that is a bit of advice that everyone should be listening to right now from Alexis. Oh, and oh dear, we've had contact there at Stratford. Oh, he's reversed in. And he's hit Smith.
Hold your brakes!
Oh no, it's a disaster for Smith getting tagged by Stratford, who did not hold his brakes after the contact. He had more contact, and that's Lewis.
What was that? Just a poor rejoin?
I don't want to jump to conclusions before we see a replay, but it didn't look like the best rejoin I've ever seen. Oh my goodness. Well,
yeah. Everyone watching this, please hold your brakes.
Yes. We cannot emphasize that enough. If you're in an incident, hold your brakes, because otherwise you cause secondary incidents. And unfortunately for Smith here, he's been caught up in that. And I believe in the exacerbation of the event and the situation he was in, did come back on the track and tagged. I think that was Smith out on track. It might have been Steve Lewis, actually. I'm not 100% sure. We will get some replays. But that car for Smith now looking all sorts of out of shape, unfortunately. And that has really ruined his chance of getting ahead of Quad. He was running up in P6 and was looking at top 5 position. Unfortunately for him, now down P8 behind Stephen Ty, who does go through. And yeah, it was a pretty scary sequence of events there.
Yeah, that was a bit all over the place, but we'll have a look at the replay in a short moment to see what actually occurred there and who is potentially getting a penalty. Although I think whoever did not hold the brakes, though, I think was probably Stratford there, will be getting a big slap.
I reckon so. And we've also had a little bit of battle going on between Herod and Ty, although that seems to have...
Slade's in the pits.
I wonder if he was maybe involved in some of that.
Yes, John in chat saying we'll call that 30 seconds a teachable moment.
Yes. 30-second penalty and a teachable moment is going to be the information coming from race control, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh dear. Yeah, you hate to see it. I mean, it can be tricky if you ping yourself off a barrier. You know, the inertia of the car can sometimes, even if you're holding the brakes, can bring you back out on track. But generally speaking, at those speeds, the car is going to be absolutely dead stop if you hold the brakes. And that is what needed to happen there. And unfortunately, it is not what's happened. So let's take another look at this.
Here we go. So we got the 111 car,
That's Webb.
and then we got that was Stratford, and then oh dear,
Nope, you're right.
yep,
He didn't hold his
yeah, it
brakes.
did not hold brakes at all.
No. Oh dear. Okay. And if we can hopefully bring up the camera view of.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Oh.
that's a shocking rejoin.
Yeah.
That is a shocking rejoin.
Yeah. In that situation, you.
Oh,
I mean, he's kind of
oh,
cooked it.
Yeah, he cooked the throttle.
He did. I don't think he intentionally came on with that
Uh,
angle, but even that was a bit scary there too. I mean, in that situation, the right thing to do for the most part is stay on the grass and just bring yourself back up to speed, cut the chicane, come back on as people move to the right.
He needed to get on the throttle, like, just slightly there. He just pinned it and got loose on him, and that will be a big penalty because that was horrendous.
Absolutely, yeah. So Smith here will be in a bit of trouble with the stewards, I suspect, but so will others. Not holding brakes is, yeah, penalty-worthy infringement, that's for sure.
Oh,
Stratford.
yeah, there you go. Stratford drives through for not holding the brakes there, called unsafe rejoin.
Yep, that's the technical term.
Marsh has picked up a drive-through for track limits.
Ooh, ouch. As has Lewis, it looks like.
Yes, Lewis has as well. And Stratford will pick up one, so both of your AM class drivers have drive-throughs now.
Wow, okay, so it's... What is happening with the Lamborghini in behind? We've just seen them twice.
Stop go 10. Stop go 10 for Ray Smith. That is big.
That is a big penalty, yeah. I mean, all I can say in Smith's defense is that he cooked the throttle a little bit too much. I don't think the angle that he ended up on was intentional, but at the end of the day, you know, he rejoined at an awful part of the track, and he just needed to be much more aware of what was going on around him. So stop go 10 will be handed out to him. He'll have to serve that. Well, he'll serve that at the end of the race, really, won't he? Because we're on the last lap.
And Shady Samuel's about to cross the line, and he has taken out victory here for Split Blue in the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series at Oulton Park.
He has indeed. Jeremy Washington, P2. Let's go. Great result here. We'll take silver class win as well. So that's a fantastic race. Nice and quiet race for the most part for Jeremy Washington. He's kept it cool, calm and collected out there, as has Shady Samuel, as the flares do start going off in the grandstand. McDonald nearly catching up to the back of Hignett, but Hignett will take P3 in this race, followed by McDonald. So this has some potential points implications in the championship standings. In Split Blue, Kwan comes across the line for his best result this season, and the Pro-Am victory, and P6 will be heralded across the line, coming into the last corner right now for the last time, and then Stephen Tye will be behind it in P7, and that also has some standing implications.
Yes, it will. So Tye will hold P2 in the standings for now, but Washington and McDonald are much closer. Smith will cross the line in P8, but it'll actually be Scarney who takes that P8 with Smith's massive stop-go 10 converted to a 40-second penalty. Scarney will take P8, and then Begg will take P9 with Smith dropping down to P10. So still in the top 10, but yeah, no, that was well worth the penalty, I think.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. So that's 11 positions gained for Scarney. So an impressive race for him, despite being in the middle of the pack, or the back of the pack initially, fighting his way all the way through to a P9, so hashtag Scarney for Pro, of course. Do remember that. And we'll quickly take a look through results before everyone starts leaving the service. So overall, of course, Shady Samuel taking out the victory, and then we've got Hignett and McDonald rounding out the Pro Class top 3. And to silver, it's Jeremy Washington with Eric Scarney, and then Smith taking that penalty. Big slap on the wrist for him at the end of this race for silver class. And then Pro-Am, we've got Kwan takes his first Pro-Am victory this season, followed by Ashley Vediger and Aaron Slade. And that has got some implications for the Pro-Am class. In the Am class, it is Hayden Marsh and Stratford. Stratford with both of them with the drive-throughs at the end of this race. And somehow that means that there's a 1 second gap between these two drivers. And Hayden Marsh will take Am class victory today.
Indeed he will, and he will... I'm not too sure what implications they'll have on the AM class championship, but that definitely brings him close to Shackleford, if not ahead.
Exactly right. Yes, well, of course, with Shackelford not racing today, I think that will put Hayden Marsh in the lead or maybe just behind. So it's going to get close for the Ave class here today. But sans rain at Oulton Park. So unfortunately, we didn't get the rain that we had in qualifying. But it was a mixed race out there today. I think we had some good racing for the most part, but as it sometimes is with Oulton Park, the racing got a little bit too close for comfort, and we did see some pretty large mistakes out there on track today, which definitely dampened things a little bit. But overall, Split Blue, not too bad.
Yeah, generally that was a solid enough race. As you said, quite a few mistakes scattered in all of that, but that is to be expected at Oulton Park.
Certainly is. And of course, we look forward to next week's finale of this season, Series 15 here at the Simrigs Sprint Series. And we will be looking forward to Laguna Seca. So that's going to be a good one. I'm really looking forward to that. Of course, it will round out the final Sprint Series of 2023 here at Octane Online Racing. And of course, we will probably be looking forward to 2024 as well and looking ahead. But for now, we focus in on Series 15 and the final race ahead of us. But Split Blue doing well, and we'll now basically hand it over to Neil Haynes and Leo Dreyer for Split Red. So looking forward to that. Hope they have a good race. But Alexis, a pleasure to be in the commentary box with you as always, mate.
Thank you. It's been great as always, George. But yes, we'll be back after this short break, and Split Red will be underway very
Okay, welcome back to the split red of the Simrigs Sprint Series tonight here at Oulton Park. I'll be commentating Neil Haynes alongside with Leo Dreyer. Welcome back, Leo.
Thank you, Neil. It's good to be back. Can't wait for a bit of Oulton Park. Good old British racetrack, so really excited to see what's going to happen tonight. We had a really close battle last time out at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, it was a pretty intense battle there at Watkins Glen last week, and from the open fast circuit we get to a bit more of a narrower circuit now, and the guys are just into their qualifying session at the moment, and we're on board with Chris Cooley at the moment, leading the championship. I think actually maybe not leading the championship from memory, but I'll have to double check that after his rotten luck he had. I think it was at Watkins Glen last week.
Yeah, he had a rotten one. I think he had a disconnect or some pedal failures or something from memory, but he's second in the championship at the moment. So we got Chris Tsang at the moment. I think he's 62 points ahead of Chris at the moment. But we'll definitely would be expecting Chris to be right at the top sharp end as well this time out.
Yeah, we've just got Mags obviously in that McLaren as well, just bordering at in position 2. We're waiting for some times to come through as they all start filtering in through now, with just under 12 minutes remaining. So it sure should heating up here on track, hotting up into the last 5 minutes of this qualifying session. And welcome to everyone viewing there on YouTube and on Twitch. Hope you enjoyed that first race. There was a little bit of action, I think. I don't know if you caught it there, Leo, with Smith in the Ferrari late in the 5 minutes remaining, and Kwan in the BMW. They were battling pretty hard, and there was a bit of a moment there, and then it just got ugly after that for Smith in that Ferrari, and copping a couple of little penalties along the way.
I'll have to go watch the replay. I missed it. I was busy helping getting kids to bed, so I just scraped in time, so I'll have to go watch a replay. It sounds like it was very exciting. Oulton Park sometimes tend to be a bit like that because it's such a narrow track, I suppose, and yeah, can definitely have some spicy racing.
Oh, sure it does, and I think we're going to catch it all here for the Simrigs Split Red. This is the penultimate round of the series. We're going to have one more race left of 2023 at OOR, and it was a driver's choice, and it came out on front, I believe, Laguna Seca, Leo.
Yeah, they definitely heading back to America. It was outvoted. Kota was outvoted, and they decided to go to Laguna Seca. So looks like these shorter, twisty tracks is the order of the day at the moment. Maybe after everybody is tired of all the long straights of Spa, they just want some twisty racetracks now.
Oh, talking about Spa, wasn't OOR's Spa 24-hour over the weekend such a great event? I think there was 37 car entries and excess of over 150 odd drivers, with teams of 3, 4 and 5 and even some 6 driver teams throughout the weekend, and what an event that was, Leo.
Phenomenal. I've got to say, like, OOR really put on a fantastic spectacle. It was fantastic. It was so good to be part of it as well, and yeah, we had a team of 6 as well ourselves, so it's difficult to coordinate 6 people, you know, across 24 hours in different time zones, and not to mention the commentary and all the people involved to make a 24-hour race like that work. So yeah, congrats to OOR. It was just a fantastic event.
Yeah, and just under the 9 minutes remaining. We've still got Cooley out in front, but Keys has now moved up into second in the second of that Aston Martin, as we're looking at Mags in that McLaren trying to chase down the 2 Astons in front. And the fastest lap of Cooley just pops up on our screen as he's motoring along.
Yeah, I saw Max just popped it into second, but he's second adrift still. So yeah, it's some fast pace. So Keys has just gone second now, 0.6 still off the pace of Cooley. So yeah, he's in his dogmobile, definitely making it all happen in that Aston at the moment.
Yeah, and that's a nice livery of the car as well, as we've seen. There's that monster Aston Martin sitting in the pits, just ready for a reset as they go in over, bouncing over that chicane there at Britain's, I think it is, as they try and line it up over the hilltops and into the Hislop and Knickerbrook section of the circuit. Fairly tight through this part. Looks like the big tyre bundles have been moved from the apex from that second chicane, as we're looking at Palmer in the Porsche. Look at this. This is almost what we saw at Spa. We had the daylight on one side, the night in the middle, and the sunrise on the right-hand side of the glow of the sun coming up. That's almost a Spa livery Porsche right there, you could say.
There was a few Porsches involved at the Spa, and they some of them had a very eventful race, but that is a fantastic looking livery.
Yeah, and it's great to see also the community with OOR as well, with a lot of comments, a lot of people still reliving that Spa 24-hour with, some comments how people kept themselves entertained throughout that, what would you say, the graveyard shift after midnight into 6 o'clock in the morning. Some teams joined together in voice chat and, just keeping the banter light and enjoying each other's company, having a bit of a laugh, keeping those cars circulating in the early hours of the morning. But here we go. We've got to get back to the racing here with 6.5 minutes. Who's your bet on for pole position, Leo, at this stage at the moment?
I wish I was closer at the top, but safe bet will say that Chris will be on pole. I think we'll have Mags, Keys, potentially Wittner, even Tawfik maybe coming into play as well. Although I think the Ferrari is not that great around here at the moment. We're just looking at Tawfik at the moment. He was in that Spa 24 race as well, and they had a really quick team. They generally fast people. But yeah, I think my pick would be Cooley. Safe bet, boring bet, but safe.
Yeah, I think it is pretty safe bet. But if anyone can do it, Tawfik can do it here in this Ferrari. I can see him probably trying to nudge it into the top 5 if he can. He's 0.2 up on this lap around. Gets this final run down the hill here, down into D Leap, up over the start-finish line. What's he got for us? And he moves it just into the top 6 there, just a little bit shy of Vintinia in 5th position. As there you go, Leo,
Stretching
right
the
on the
legs.
money, purely.
He's
Just
a
really
fast boy.
cements his time up in front. He's going to be a hard customer. He's here for redemption in the motherland in England after his performance there in the US of A at Watkins Glen.
Yeah, he's
There's,
definitely.
Keys.
Definitely, I think Chris wants to make amends for the last outing, and yeah, he's just showing everybody how good he really is if he's on it on the day.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But Mags is still not going out without a fight. He's got Palmer behind him in that Porsche. Doing a good job as well is Palmer in 4th position. There's Tawfik up again by 0.2 of a second. Now this is probably good enough to see him maybe even take Palmer out of the top 4. But we've still got 4 minutes remaining, and we've got Palmer and Vintinius both on track as well.
Yeah, he's interestingly running TC5. I always just see him running TC6 in the Ferrari, so he's clearly found a lot of time there. 0.3, almost 0.4 up, so yep, moves him up into P4. So well done there. See a Ferrari up there, well done.
How good is qualifying? I find that these last parts of qualifying, even when you're out live at a racetrack, it's just so exciting. Sometimes just as exciting as the races. You see your drivers fighting to get those final positions to get a good starting spot on the grid. And this is one track you want a good starting position, isn't it, Leo? Because we know it's so difficult to start to overtake, I should say. And at the start, a lot of mayhem can happen, especially coming down into Cascades and up into this hairpin that he's just exited now at the Shell corner. And don't forget these 1st and 2nd chicanes. So a lot of action is expected in the opening laps.
Yeah, Neil, you're right. It's qualifying is always important, but it's such a great little session, and it typically has got so much going for in terms of nerves as well, and it's fantastic to see people get the best out of their cars on a one lap. Luckily in this qualifying they've got a couple of minutes to get there, but you're right, at this track qualifying is extremely important. There's 1 or 2 spots for overtaking. We've seen that, I think, in the previous race, as you mentioned, there was some close racing, but it's also starting at the front or closer to the front, you potentially avoid that mayhem that, you know, sometimes comes with a lap 1 on a tight circuit.
Yeah, and it's a typical tight, like enjoyable British circuit too. And here we go, we're just having a look to see he's up again, but is it enough? No, he's still in that 4th position as Mags has gone that little bit faster, I think. In position 3 as we're looking at Mags now in the McLaren, trying to see if he can trouble the 2 Astons in front. Anyone viewing, McLaren fans, let us know, guys, or if you're an Aston fan, let us know if that's who you want. You want to see Cooley and Keys keep that front row, or do you want a McLaren, a Ferrari, or even a Porsche up on that front row, sharing with Cooley?
Sparks flying through that little chicane there. Yeah, I think this McLaren is on it. He lost a bit of time there. He was up almost 3 tenths, so, but he's still got a couple of tenths in there to see if he can improve his position. I think it's a battle for second here at the moment, Neil?
Oh, for sure, yeah, but there's still a lot going on in that as -2, especially for the first 3 rows of this grid is where everyone really wants to be. Not everyone can be there though, so there's going to be some guys that will be fighting extremely hard to get there.
Yeah, I've seen Rashidi pop up to 7th. We would have expected him to be quite fast as well, so that's good to see him up there. And Palmer, the Pro-Am in the Porsche, up in 5th at the moment, doing a really good job as well.
Yeah, that's an excellent job in that Porsche. So Mags goes, I think, a little bit faster there, but Tafiq, here he goes over the top. He's not so fast this one, but he's got himself ready for one more lap. The yellow's just showing on his screen, but that's not going to bother him. There's Vintia here in that Mercedes, the leading Mercedes. We've come to get used to seeing the big Merc.
Always a good soundtrack to have with on board. Love the Merc soundtrack.
Yeah,
it's good to have him in the race.
For some time, but here he goes, the number 7 Mercedes. What can he do? He's going to bring it home up into 4th, and he has got another lap if he wishes to do so. Will he have enough fuel to get another lap in? Kicking up the dirt on the apex of turn 1.
Yeah, he's absolutely on it there. Nailed that apex, and as you can see, he's right on his previous lap, best laps time at the moment as well. So still on a good one here. With 5 seconds left in qualifying, this as people will come over the line, this will probably be their last go.
Here comes the monster Aston. He's up, he's challenging Cooley, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Mags, he's already put it into the pits. He's had enough in 3rd position. He's going to sit there and look at the timing monitors and see what may happen. See if he can hold on to that inside run on row 2. Time will tell, as Vintia is doing well.
Yeah, he'll need a little bit more. If he can get 2 tenths, which it looks like he just found through that little section there, he'll need another little bit of time to see if he can challenge for P3. So sitting in the pits, watching the monitor is not always easy when people are out on track, challenging for your time. So it'll be good to see what happens here. So Tafiq's done as well, and he's ended up in P5 with that Ferrari.
Yeah, good job from Tafiq. The final corner, I just don't think he's got enough, Leo. I think he needed to try and get that little bit more out. It's going to be close,
great
but
exit.
Just going to fall short.
Oh, that's so close.
Mags, but how close is that?
That's
nice
an excellent
run.
last lap on the bubble. That's very good from Ben.
Yeah, that's definitely good commitment.
So Palmer in the Pro-Am here is also up 2 tenths. Ran a little bit wide, lost a bit of time there on the exit, and we'll see if he can challenge for P5. No, he ends up in P6.
So there we have it. There's the grid, guys. We've got Cooley on pole position.
So we've got Cooley, then Keys, Mags in the McLaren, Vintner in the Merc, Taufik in his Ferrari, Palmer the Pro-Am, the top Pro-Am, and P6 in his Porsche. Then we've got Rashudi in the Lambo, Thistlewaite in the GTR. We've got a GTR in the top 10. Then Tonkin and Doe in a BMW. So that rounds up the top 10. We've got 23 people on the grid. 21, apologies. So we've got about 2 minutes to go to the start as we're just sorting out some of the hamsters.
Yeah, and we've got some comments coming in on YouTube. Brandon Paul, he says, yeah, 8 manufacturers in the top 10. Isn't it refreshing to see as we've got all our Christmas manufacturers on top of the Christmas tree? And also Gorilla Snappers saying for Keys, he's got a feel for Keys. He was apparently up pretty high in the first sector and then got, I think something happened to him later on, so his lap time was aborted, so that's why he went to the pits, which we didn't see. So a Gorilla Snapper saying an Aston OP. Well, I wouldn't quite say that. I would say that we've seen the BMWs challenge the Aston, which is pretty good, and tonight we're going to see also the McLaren and a Mercedes try and see if they can cause a little bit of problem for the two leading Astons.
Yeah, it's so good to see such a nice spread in the field. I think the two boys in the Astons are just both fast. I don't think the car's necessarily OP as we look at the grid here, when we've got Cooley and Keys, the two Ks in the Aston Martins. So hopefully Keys, if he had such a good lap, he lost it a little bit by the sounds. Hopefully he can challenge Chris for P1 and make a race of it.
Yeah, and a nice one, Gorilla, on Twitch saying, yeah, he's just poking a little bit of fun at Chris Cooley. So punches already been thrown as trying to upset the man on pole position.
As you should, you know, the racing is, you know, you race people not just in the cars, you know, sometimes there's a bit of gamesmanship at play as well. So, yeah, good on them. So we've got Mags in the Ferrari and P3, Alain McLaren, so we've got McLaren and then Vintner in the Merc, and as we said, Taufik. Towards the back, P11, we've got Rotari in the Lambo. Real, he's a little bit further back than I would have thought in his Bentley. Wild in a BMW. So just looking at the current championship, Neil, what should we be looking out for in this race? Is there going to be some movers and shakers, you reckon?
Oh, I'm not too sure. I think it's a good chance for some of them to, just, try and climb up that order a little bit more with only one more round to go after this one. So looking at probably Taufik, Rashudi, just getting some of those minor points, positions before the final round will be a good thing to see. And obviously a big one, obviously with Cooley wanting to take this victory to reclaim the championship lead with the BMW driver not here tonight, I don't believe, who's leading the championship.
That's right. Yeah, I was just going to say, I think Tang is not taking part, and it's such a short series, so if you lose one race that you can't race, then it makes it a bit difficult. So every opportunity for Chris today to get back on top of this championship, I reckon.
Yeah, definitely. So, but an hour to go. They've got a mandatory stop for all the tyres, and we'll see how it all unfolds. But let's hope that he has no hardware issues, Cooley, this time around.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with Palmer in that Porsche. I think he's outperformed, his badge. He's up there in P6 as the Pro-Am driver. So congratulations to him. Hopefully he can mix it up with the rest of the guys during this race.
Yeah, Graham Hill saying that his bet is probably on Keys because he's an Oulton Park track specialist, as he qualified really well in the spec race last night as well. So let's just see how Keys goes. He's going to be right alongside his fellow Aston driver. And I tell you what, it's going to get hot as these drivers now are starting to form up. We're getting to the later half of this circuit. And a few nerves will be rumbling away, fingers twitching on the steering wheel, and making sure those last little things are all sorted. No distractions, because it is pretty intense, as we've already brought up at this first opening lap. Plenty going on, and as you can see, the track is narrow. There's not much room for these cars
I've also noticed it's overcast as well, so hopefully it's only going to be for 30 minutes. Let's see, there might be even a splash of rain to make it interesting.
Yeah, we'll wait for the weatherman maybe to keep us informed. But here we go. We're looking at the start. They're bringing it through. The yellow Aston Martin. You can't miss that. And it's green, green, green. And off we go. And the Merc just starts to try and squeeze down there in position 3, squeezing the McLaren. And it's Cooley and Keys have got away nice, but a lot is going in the background here. And Mags has lost a position to Vintier. And he's now got to keep himself true because he's got some pressure right behind him as they all get through the sweeper corner down the bottom at Cascades. Coming through Cascades now, sorry.
Split Blood doing a really good job actually, so halfway through the lap and haven't even seen a yellow yet, so hopefully it's not the commentator's curse, but well done to all these gents and girls to kind of keep it pointing forwards without too many dramas. It's nice at Oulton, you know, in the first lap you just see dust everywhere, you know, we're on it.
Yeah, and will we see any of the tyre bundles go up here into this second chicane, or they may have already been removed? As we're looking at a move down the inside, you've got to be commitment here as the big Bentley. He's one of the cars that could probably move that tyre barrier by just brushing his rear view mirror. Such a big car.
Yeah, it looked like Justman just did a pass there on Mike Reel in the Bentley. He's in the Ferrari, so that was a really good move. As at the front, we've got the top 3. Looks like they make a small little gap on Mags as they're getting into it. We've got Tawfiq straight behind Mags as well, keeping him honest, as Chris Cooley obviously first lap around, already do the fastest lap.
Yeah, and track limits could be an issue around this circuit too, and they don't get reset, so if they get served at the third and final track cut, they'll be really driving on ice because they don't want to get that 4th one and get that time penalty. It'll really ruin their race because it looks like it's going to be a tight grid, especially this mid-pack right through this race. But let's look at the front here with Ben in this Mercedes, absolutely smashing it in the number 7 car.
Yeah, had a great start there, overtaking Mags, and like we said earlier, it's difficult on this track to take you know, positions away from other people. So really well done on the Merc. He's definitely going to be one to watch today.
Yeah, he's got to have full commitment too, don't you? And as we've just seen, Rishuti just trying to keep that big Nissan behind. And the Nissan's actually doing a great job. Thistlewaite in 8th position in the red Nissan. Credit to him.
Mate,
really
what's going on? The tyre bundle is still alive.
Yeah, they're definitely still alive at this moment. We'll see if it can stay the whole race. It'll be an accomplishment in its own. But looking at Rishuti, trying to see if he can gap this Nissan. Nissan's been a little bit of a pain for the Lambo at the moment. He's really good on the brakes by the looks of things. And Chris Cooley, that's 2 from 2 of the fastest laps.
Yeah, as it looked like back in the field, we had a couple of passes. So Mike Reel went past Rattori, and there's a couple of really close battles. I always like to see it down the field, you know, all the way throughout the field. There's fights going on, so it's fantastic to see.
Yeah, so we're picking up Rattori right now, Leo. You've caught it, and the race director's straight onto it like a shark. And we've got him just, now looking to see if he can get Mike Reel in this Bentley.
Yeah, that's that white livery that was spoken a lot around, that Bentley livery. People like that. So you can see we're on board here with it's Rotatori, I think. Oh, as he got in a bit hot there, and unfortunately had a massive curb hop, and he will probably have somebody on his right hand side as well now, as the Porsche trying to look at Turcolini, trying to take away that. He's got the inside line, and he will most likely get the move done. So yeah, he's compromised himself and lost himself another position there, unfortunately.
Yeah, just before that, it looked like we had a Porsche Cup going on with 3 Porsches, but now we've got the the Lamborghini in between that.
It's fantastic close battles, really good racing. He did well not to actually rear end Mike Reel there. That was very close. He obviously I think missed his brake marker just a little bit, and then went in a bit hot and went to the outside of that corner to make. And
very close.
I wonder if that Lambo just has better brakes and that he's maybe caught out that other people are braking a bit earlier. I'm not sure. I haven't driven the Lambo, so I can't tell. But yeah, that's 2 out of 2 where he's outbraked himself a little bit behind the other cars.
Yeah, and I'll keep a Roman numerals tab going at the moment, but Cooley's got 3 from 3 fastest laps. They keep popping up, and he just keeps extending that gap on Lucas. But looking here at this battle, though, of this Bentley right over the back of the Ferrari, the black Ferrari.
Team white or team black, eh?
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty self-explanatory there, but the 71 Bentley, he's going to try and make a big nuisance to himself to Jusman. But Jusman, knowing how he can drive, he'll make sure that he can keep that Bentley behind him and use that nimble Ferrari to get out of these corners.
Yeah,
but as we were saying before, you said a great move by Vintinho at the start of the race on Mags, but it's all about that commitment, isn't it? You got to stick to your guns. If you're going to go for it, you go for it. But both drivers need to also play the same game. You need the other driver cooperating in at least a little way and giving you a bit of room as well.
Yeah, especially that long left-hander. If there's 2 cars wide there, to hang it out there is it takes a lot of commitment. So yeah, I think this Bentley, I just saw him smash over the curbs, clearly using that to his advantage. Whilst the Ferrari is maybe nimble, the Bentley is fantastic. Obviously, just going over the, pretending like those curbs don't exist.
Yeah, that's right. They're just a myth for the Bentley, the curbs. But here he goes. He's piling on this pressure, and it's the Bentley is a car that we haven't seen for so long, and having this BAP system at work, it's great to see it back in position here, up into 12th, and seeing if he can make the most of these 2 mandatory stops too, and see if he can leapfrog anyone, do an undercut. As the Ferrari runs about wide, he's on the dirty side of the track, but now in the inside. And he will be making sure he can get a good exit out of this corner to neutralise this attack from the Bentley.
Yeah, just not enough to make that to make a move there. But as you can see, that section I saw the previous lap, that Bentley is just really strong through that section there. So he'll be looking to maybe do a dive, but the Ferrari's gone defensive, and there's not much the Bentley can do there. So although he's a bit compromised again on the exit there, it's a very tricky section to go through as Mike is piling on the pressure onto Jusman here.
I think he's really got to set himself out of Druids here, turn 15, and see if he can get the Bentley's nose sticking in at Lodge Corner at the final corner, but he's losing out a little bit. And here we go, 4th time around, Chris Cooley again. 132.2, Leo. Geez, can anyone slow this man down?
Gap is out to 3.6 already, and we're only 8 minutes into the race, so you've got to wonder. He's having a race on his own. I think he's trying to just beat his fastest lap every lap out, as Mike is reading Morse code on the back of this almost on the Ferrari.
Oh yes, he's moving everywhere, every which way, and really trying to upset Jusman here as we're looking behind Ahmad here, and he's doing an absolutely brilliant job in this Ferrari. Oh, you don't want to be caught out there too much. He only had a couple of centimetres before that rear wheel of that Bentley was going to hit the grass, and there's tyre bundles and walls waiting for your car if you do get out there.
There's some, normally a bit of tyre, you pick up a lot of things in your tyres out there as well, and you can so easily slip out there and hit the barrier when you get onto the grass, so good for Mike that he kept that going. So this little battle has caused them to, I think, drop pace a little bit, so it looks like the field is split a little bit. So you've got Jusman in front of him here just losing traction to Tonkin and the guys ahead from P10 and Pia, so this is what happens when you battle, because you drive defensively and you're not driving optimal pace. So as we pick up the Porsche Cup.
Yeah, the Porsche, I was going to say there as well, because Rochford, I think, has now dropped to 16th position. I think that's who was in the middle of that Porsche Cup battle we were seeing before. But looking here at Tafiq in the Ferrari in 5th position.
He lost a lot of time through that first corner. He was on the McLaren, coming over the line, and then as they exited that first corner, he dropped, I don't know, considerably. I don't know why he was so slow through that first corner, but Tawfiq looks like he's moving on as Mr. Wild has picked up a 15-second penalty, causing a collision on lap 3. I don't think we've spotted that, so stewards have ruled not in his favour that time around.
No, and it was actually Rotatori that we were talking about that was in that Porsche Cup, and I just seen that he was yellow flagged down the bottom there at Druids, and he has been fast-tracked to the pit, so something's going wrong with that Lamborghini number 64 car. So, yeah, he got himself out of that Porsche battle, and look at those, there's those tyre bundles.
I was going to say.
The track now.
10 minutes?
10 minutes, and they
stood longer than I thought.
Castle. That's it.
Yeah, so just remind me, we've got 2 mandatory pit stops from Emery Neal in this race, correct?
Yeah, we do. I thought there was only the one for this round, but definitely there is the 2 mandatory stops. You can see on the Christmas tree on your left of your screen in the yellow, there's the number 2, so that means there's actually the 2 mandatory stops. And you'll see once the stops start happening, that'll come down to a number 1 in there as we're looking. Here we go. He's everywhere. And he's down the inside at Druids, but then runs wide, and it's Jasmine back in front of the Bentley of Mike Reel, so it's has to do it all again, but at least he's shown his intentions there, and that's the point that we did bring up earlier, Leo, where it's probably his best bet for an overtake for Reel, but he just didn't make it stick that time around.
Yeah, you sometimes need a bad exit from the car ahead of you, one of these little sections, and then hopefully you can get your nose in where it matters. Obviously this one he tried before, and he will probably just hang around and maybe wait for the exit out of the little chicane. I think you know, that Ferrari moved a lot there, I think, on that back straight, probably more than what Mike would have liked, but they did fantastically well to not get into each other there. That was quite close, to be honest.
Yeah,
as he's really on him now.
Yeah, he is, but it's so hard to overtake here. You're really gonna, you know, probably end in tears when 2 drivers are going at really hard. The only way you can really make that move, I think, is if a car makes a mistake out of Britain's, and you got that little short straight before you come up to the second chicane, and you can try and get a move done there. But again, you need the second driver to cooperate and probably yield, understanding he made that mistake as well. Oh, here he goes. There's a touch. It was only going to take time. We knew this was getting frustrated for Reel, and
your words were not cold. Your words were not even cold yet.
Yeah, Ahmad we won't be liking that. He'll be ruined there. Steam would be coming out of his ears and fogging up his visor as he comes in now into the pits to get that damage done and a mandatory stop out of the way.
Yeah, we see Max in the... Yeah, he will not be happy, but I think he actually lost it out of that corner a little bit, and I think he came out of the throttle, and I think that made the tap happen. At the end of the day, the guy at the back needs to make sure they overtake safely, so I'm not sure what will happen there. He was rammed off the road, unfortunately, but I think he'd had a mistake, you know, into that little corner. But I was wondering just before that incident happened whether maybe Mike would have wanted to come into the pits to try and do the undercut to see if he could, you know, gap him that way, because passing on the track looked like it was impossible. As this Porsche Cup is definitely heating up at the back here. We've got Turcolini, White and Bishop as we're on board here with Ash White very close to Damien.
And he's an iconic livery, the Falcon type Porsche livery. We see it all around the world, and he's even got the 911 numbers on the number board as well. So what an awesome livery there. And there's some sort of what is it, a sloth or a monkey or something at the back bumper, which it would be interesting to see from Bishop's view, and see exactly what's hanging off the back of that bumper.
Yeah, these guys are having a real good time, as Turcolini, I think, just ran a little bit wide on that occasion through the last corner, and Ash is going into the pits, so I think that's probably a good call to see if you can maybe make the undercut work. It's probably earlier than you want to pit, but if you're battling so closely and you're losing lap time, you might as well see if you could pick up a bit of time, you know, pitting early.
Yeah, definitely, and Tafik in as well. So maybe that's the reason why we've seen White come in as well. We've seen the Ferrari probably pop up going in the pits, and he's a little bit further up the field, and probably thinking, yeah, the window could be open. If the leaders are starting to think to come into the pits, and they're on board Chris, because we haven't seen him for a while, and he hasn't been setting the fastest laps, but well, he's probably been doing the fastest laps of the race, but of each lap. But at the moment,
Yeah.
he's got a roughly 6 or 7 second margin on Keys. So Keys is still within striking distance, Leo. So I wouldn't count out the Aston of Keys in this race, because we've only gone 15 minutes in, and he's sort of maintaining that gap now. Oh,
Ooh.
as we commentators curse, there you go.
Second
And,
time.
I gave some commentators curse during the Spa 24, and it continues here at Oulton Park. So apologies to all the Keys supporters, and we're going to maybe see a replay, and bouncing over the outside of the Druids corner.
That's such a typical Oulton Park little error. That happens quite often. He did really well to spin the car around when it was safe to do so. I was worried it might have gone in front of that Ferrari, but he did well. So he's coming into the pits, and he's going to have to fight back to see if he can get back on the podium after that little error. I was going to say, you said earlier Chris is not doing the fastest laps. He's dawdling. He's doing 32.5s at the moment. His fastest lap being a 32.2. And last lap 32.5, and his streaks clear of pretty much everybody else out on track at the moment.
Yeah, we're just seeing on that little graphic of Mike Reel, his best time of a 1:33.7. So, you know, a second slower than the leader, and he's in position 6, so he's not dawdling, Mike Reel, in that Bentley. So just tells you the pace is coming out of that Aston at the moment under the capable hands of Chris, as we're looking at Rochford in P10.
Yeah, he's in the Lambo, I think. Yeah, he's. I think that's the one of the Kovacs cars. I think Kovacs purple, maybe, or Kovacs red. I don't know what are the Kovacs purple Lambo. So yeah, I love that livery. That is so pretty. He was sitting behind those Porsches actually as well a little bit earlier, but I can see that there's a McLaren ahead of him as well. Now I'm not sure if that's happened just recently, because a couple of laps ago he was just behind the 3 Porsches. So. Looks like Bonholm is in the AM is actually ahead of Rochford. I don't know if he's had a bit of a problem.
Yeah, Bonholm, what a great result. Up in the top 10 for an AM. That is fantastic around this tight circuit. Credit to him at the moment, and hopefully he can keep that form, keep that pace going. As here we go with Turcolini leading in front of Bishop.
Yeah, I think as the guys do their pit stops, it will shake out a little bit, so it's maybe not a net position that some of those guys are in, but fantastic for them to be able to mix it up with between the AMs and the Pro-Ams as well. As we got Palmer and Real into the pits this lap around, so I think Palmer he was actually quite a while. He was in P4 or P5 before the pit stop started, I think.
Yeah, that was because I think we did see, obviously, Keys have that spin, so that promoted him up the order. But we've also just having a look. Also, I've just noticed that Wild has got a 15-second penalty. I think we saw that earlier. I think it did come up causing, I think, was that one causing an accident?
Yeah,
earlier?
the lap 3 incident, yeah.
So he's actually in position 9 and doing a good job. But Doe in the leading BMW up into 3rd position, and just a little bit behind Rashudi. And we'll see what he can do as he comes straight into the pit lane as we speak, to get one of those stops done. It'll be interesting to see where he pops out compared to Mags, I guess, because Mags has already had his mandatory stop, and I think he was 3rd in that McLaren when he did pit, and probably up to 2nd position after the spin of Keys as well. So Mags is probably effectively 2nd position in position 11 on track at the moment, as it's getting very, very busy in pit lane. Leo, I wish we had a pit lane reporter. keep us up to date, but there's a lot going on.
Yeah, these are the optimal strategies, right? So these guys have just cut the race in 3 and gone 20-20-20. So this, I would suggest, is your typical optimal strategy. So which is, I think, why it's so busy in the pit lane at the moment. I've just noticed on the timing board as well that Taufik and Vintner is having a fantastic battle as well. So hopefully we can pick that up at some point. But yeah, the pit lane is very busy at this hour.
Yeah, and Devin Ngura, I think it's his pronounced. I'm not the best with pronouncing, as most would know if you've listened to me in the commentary a little bit, but I think you get my gist. In the AM of the BMW, second at the moment, was the last one that came into the pits on that lap. But Kuehle's in, so here he is. You hit it on the nail there, Leo. Definitely that's splitting it into, say, 20-minute sort of sessions. And Kuehle is in.
Yeah, I wonder if he will just make the race interesting and just maybe add a bit of extra fuel or something, just to
Maybe
slow himself. Because now that Keys is kind of out of it, as that Vintner in that Merc was quite sideways coming out of there with a bit of a bad exit. So Taufik has got all the incentive at the moment and really pushing him quite hard here.
Yeah, he sure is. And this is what we've come to expect from these two. They seem to always get close to one another, and also, yeah, I've just trying to go down the order of another driver that we normally see up there. Oh, Rashidi is the one that actually leading the race. Is usually around these guys as well. So.
Yeah, that's right. Rashidi is a very fast driver. I think he's picked a Lambo for this specific series, which probably is not, I would suggest, the fastest car out there at the moment. But he's always doing a good job, and he's decided to stay out a bit longer. He will probably do 1 or 2 extra more laps, or he might go all the way to halfway. I'm not too sure what his strategy is. Staying out too long is probably not the fastest strategy, as there's a drive-through for causing a collision on lap 12. So I think that's the one we saw with Mike Reel, where I mentioned I think Jasmine went into that corner and he lifted as he had made a mistake, and then obviously Mike hit him. So I'm not sure if it was that specific incident, but however, he's got a drive through, so the stewards have spoken.
Yeah, we won't say too much about that. I think we had that also at Watkins Glen last, oh, no, it wasn't last week, 2 weeks ago, Leo. There was a contentious call, we thought, from the stewards, but then it came out that the second car ended up getting a penalty a little bit later as well. And I remember that the chat on YouTube sort of lit up a little bit, thinking why didn't the other driver cop a penalty, but the other driver did end up getting a bigger penalty. So we'll wait and see, because we didn't see a replay of that incident. It was only from what you gathered live, which I didn't quite see that myself. So we'll wait and see what happens. Oh, we've just so you guys know, the replay man has decided to have a snooze, and we're not getting any replays in this red split, unfortunately. So it'll be all the live action, and both myself and Leo will keep you entertained for the last 36 minutes or so of this race.
You called it there, Neil. We've got Rashidi just came out behind these two. You said he's normally close to them on the track. He came out, he stayed out a bit longer. He was the leader, and he's only just come out behind these two, so he'll be looking to try and catch up to them as well. So yeah, I think he's made up a lot of space there, Rashidi, by staying out longer, to be honest, because he was towards the, I don't know where he was running before the initial pit stops, but well done. It looks like he's got in his visor, he's got the Taufik Ferrari set as his target, and he'll be looking to catch up with them.
Yeah, so I've just got someone from Firelord Racing on the YouTube saying that he thinks it was a later incident for that drive-through penalty that we've seen pop up.
Yeah,
so,
I would have hoped so. It could have been maybe the spin back on the track. I don't know if that was an unsafe rejoin potentially, or if it was just a different incident, because yeah, that would have been contentious to get a drive-through when you've just lost your car and somebody taps you at the back, I would have thought.
Yeah.
Luckily I'm not a steward.
No, I'd hate to be there, have their job. I'd rather just sit here and yarn about the race, to be honest, Leo, and that way there it's a little bit easier. But I tell you what, the OOR stewards, don't they do a good job?
Yeah, for those who's watching who probably don't know, this series runs that way where you obviously call your own number when you feel like there's been a problem, and then the stewards would investigate it. And they normally do a fantastic job, I've got to say. I think it's very fair, and most of the time, there's not too much controversy about it. I mean, in racing there will always be two views. There's two cars at play, and most often there's two views. But in general, the stewards are doing a fantastic job, and yeah, shout out to all of them today as well.
And they're not being, at the end of the day too, I think what they're trying to do is just keep that level of driving and keep people learning. Because if you're not out on track and learning something, well, I guess you're not bettering yourself. So everyone makes mistakes. We're all humans. We're not robots. So a lot of drivers, yes, they get a penalty. They'll probably be a little bit angry and probably curse about the stewards or something at the time. But then when the dust settles, and the dust ain't settling through the second chicane here, as Tonkin's trying to keep the charging keys behind. But at the end of the day, they get time to settle down, look and see what went wrong, and a lot of the time they know what to do next time to make sure that they don't have to visit the stewards again.
That's right. They've got multiple angles, as when they review those things, as Keys is looking every which way to try and get past Tonkin here. Tonkin is definitely no slouch. I've raced him, and he tends to be quite a fast driver and very fair as well. But Keys seems like he's got the pace. It will be interesting to see if he can hang it around the first corner here. Yeah, as I think Tonkin just braked a bit earlier. It's not his fight today. Keys obviously fighting back to try and get back to P2. It will be interesting to see if Keys will try and just go through the field here, or if he might pit early, like I would imagine 30 or 28 or something like that minutes left to try and clear these cars on his own at the back of the track when they come in for their stops. So it will be interesting to see how he goes about it, trying to get back up to P2 that he lost after that little mistake earlier.
Yeah, I love this shot. As you can see, the camber angle of that turn 5 up at the Shell corner, I think it's called. But look at them just bouncing over. Some of the cars actually just jump over that curb, others are avoiding them. But yeah, it's some great camera angles for this circuit, just to show you how tricky this circuit can be. And most drivers that have challenged the circuit, especially at some pace, they do understand that it only takes a slight little error, and you really need to correct that car fairly quickly, otherwise it can end in tears. As the fresh tyres of Chris Cooley are now talking again, and a 132.127, as you can see on that screen. It's something to behold, really, to see the times that Chris is doing on a late Thursday night.
I think when you're out like that in front, it's happened to me actually a long time ago in Bathurst, and I was out in front I think like 15 seconds, and the problem is you actually lose concentration a bit. And I think what Chris is doing is really good, is he's just driving to his own pace and trying to chase his delta in a way to keep him focused. Otherwise you can drift off a little bit, I suppose, because he's out 14 or 15 seconds in the lead at the moment. So yeah, well done to Chris, not giving up and still improving his time, as Keys is now on the top of Doe here in the BMW, and hopefully he'll try and do the same run he had on Tonkin just before. That was a really good overtake, by the way, into the first corner there.
Oh yeah, around the outside. But I want to rewind a bit. You mentioned you were leading Bathurst. I tell you what, leading Bathurst is some accomplishment, and congratulations in doing that in whatever car or whatever race that may have been.
It was in the GT3 Cup actually not too long ago, but there was a massive accident behind me, so I just got lucky, mate. I wasn't good.
You didn't have to tell the truth there. You always bend the stories, bend the truth a little bit. For a good yarn. But but leading a race around Bathurst, that's a great feeling inside. So congratulations to be able to do that. Not many people will be able to lead a race, let alone Bathurst. So that's a pretty cool little story. But here we go, as Keys, he went around the outside of Tonkin, but I think he's going to have a little bit harder job here with Doe in the BMWs. Here you go, you've actually caught it as well. He is going to come into the pits and try the undercut, Leo.
Yeah, that's clever. I would have done exactly the same, because you end up losing probably 5-6 seconds trying to overtake, because these guys he's trying to overtake is fast, right? So he's not easily just going to jump them. which means you end up battling and you lose a lot of time. So, and to be honest, a 30-minute stint compared to a 20-minute stint is not a massive difference in lap time. So yeah, that's exactly what I would have done. So I think clever strategy there from Keys to see if he can get back. So we'll keep an eye on him. I think he was in P8 before that last round of pit stop, so we'll see where he cycles out towards the end, as we've just caught up here with Taufik, and Rashudi has actually caught up to them as well, which is fantastic. So it's become a three-way battle.
How good is this? We've got an Aston in front, a McLaren in second. We've got Vintia here in the Mercedes in third, Taufik, as you said, in the Ferrari in fourth, and then a Lamborghini in fifth of Rashudi, and then Palmer in the Porsche in sixth and eighth position, a BMW in Doe in position 7. So 7 spots, 7 different manufacturers, not even a double up. So what a great race this is.
How good is that? Yeah, when last did you see that? The top 7 cars are all different manufacturers. So yeah, that just shows that the new BOP is definitely doing its job, and yeah, it makes for fascinating racing, and people can pick the cars they like, or the cars they don't like, or that challenges them, but still be competitive. So it's as a back marker, just let these 3 come through, because they are absolutely on it at the moment.
Yeah, rightly so, and credit to that back marker as well as Taufik. He's really hanging it out there. Dust flying out of turns 3 at Cascades as he's coming now down into the Island Bend. Such a fast corner, and you've got to get your braking right here for this hairpin here at turn 5. You can carry a little bit of pace, but most drivers seem to hug the inside and get a good little exit. Use the camber of that corner to your benefit. As you can see, that Merc really jumps the curb on the entry of Britain's.
It's the second lap I've seen that Ferrari. Taufik has got a very different line he takes through that chicane. And I'm not sure if it's just because the Ferrari doesn't ride the curb so well, because to be honest, I think that Ferrari is not too bad normally over the curbs, but he's got a bit of a weird line there, and he's now under pressure from Rashudi, who's starting to nail onto the back of him, as Cooley is trying to beat, I think, the 32s. I think that's his target for tonight, to see if I can get into the 31s in the race.
Yeah, so Gorilla Snapper on Twitch, he said a lap ago when we said the other lap time was a filthy time. He's tearing up, and now he's seeing the time again get lower. So I tell you what, he might be in the fetal position. Someone might have to go and check the Snapper and make sure he's still breathing after seeing that time from Chris Curley. And
this is the
20
battle
laps in, here we, oh yeah, sorry, that's definitely happening here. The Ferrari and Lamborghini at a long distance, you can't pick the two really, so they're both sleek machines and awesome cars to drive here on ACC.
Yeah, it's difficult around that corner, too wide, and to make the outside work there, to be honest. So, but good on him for trying. He hasn't lost too much time, so this is definitely the battle on the track at the moment by the looks, and it will be interesting to see if Rashudi might come in early to the pits as well, to see if he can undercut these boys for the last stint as well.
Yeah, so we can see Lucas Keys all the way there in position 16 with the green, the green column down in the mandatory pit stop. So his pits are done. So if you're wondering why that's green and the others are yellow, that means his mandatory stops are now done. So he's going to be good to the end of this race, as long as he doesn't get involved in any commentator's curse or anything of his own wrongdoing. But good race for him out there. But Taufik, he's had a terrific drive.
Yeah, he's a tough competitor. He's always there and thereabouts. As Rashudi comes into the pits, as I thought, let's try and see if we can make the undercut work as well. Because when you look at the radar, the weather, you can see the next 30 minutes it's going to be dry. So when it comes to 30 minutes, you can kind of make that call to stop early and put the right tires on to get you to the end. And like I said, I don't think the delta is that big of a difference at 20 to 30 minutes as the last stint. So we'll see where he filters out, because Keys is obviously on track. He's got a bit of a gap trying to catch up to the cars in front of him. I think Rochford is the guy ahead of him, and he's about 8 seconds, so he's got clean track. So it will be interesting to see what lap times he'll be laying down now, and where Rashudi will feed out. I would imagine he would still be ahead of him, but probably not by much.
Yeah, so Damo here, Turcolini, he's got about a 6-second gap between himself and White, so he's trying to bring the Porsche Cup back to life again. He's trying to bring Bishop with him, but he's got 6 seconds to try and make up to get onto the back of White, who's leading in that Falcon livery of the Porsche in position 9. But tell you what, Turcolini's doing a good job as well to hold off Bishop, because these two, they're almost been connected like a train for the whole race, haven't they, Leo? There's
That's
been
right.
nothing.
Since the beginning, yeah.
I don't know if Bishop in front or was Turcolini in front, and then White got one of them. I can't remember how it happened, but I tell you what, it's been entertaining to see these 3 Porsches running close together.
Yeah, and I don't know where White has gone. I think he's up, hasn't stopped yet. He's definitely cleared off in the distance a little bit, running the 911. Yeah, Falcon.
Yeah, as we've been speaking though, they've actually closed that gap within a second, just on this lap. So Turcolini and Bishop, they're really starting to reel in White, and if it keeps going this way, by the time they come into the pits for their final mandatory stop, they could be all close together exiting the pit. So keep your eyes close to the Delta screens there on the Christmas tree on your left, and wait to see them when they come into the pits, and we'll keep an eye. I'm sure our race director will be right on top of it for us, keeping us in the loop as Real in that Bentley is in pit lane, doing his final stop.
Yeah, so it looks like Ben Vintner in the Merc is the first to have made all these stops, and he's the first of the guys who's finished all these stops. So we've got a yellow in the hairpin on the banking.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to get himself going again.
Oh, that is the
this away. Yeah, in the he was doing so good in that Nissan, and we've got Benny in chat at YouTube as well. On YouTube. Just commenting that that he thinks that Jay Doe might do pretty good in this BMW as we speak. He's up into 4th position as Palmer takes his opportunity to go into the pits. And will we see the other Porsches all filter in too shortly? But
yeah, this Ferox GTR has seen better days. He's going to try and bring it back to the pits. Luckily, he's got to stop left, so he will try and fix damage. But I reckon he ran wide on that very, very fast left-hander coming into the hairpin, and definitely clattered the wall there on the inside by the looks.
Yeah, we see those tyre bundles really lap up cars through a race as well. They definitely stop the cars from continuing on into the hairpin. And he wants to try and hug the right-hand corner here as Keys. He wouldn't know that he was damaged probably, and yeah, he's getting a little bit frustrated, Keys, but he's coming in pretty hot here. Is he in the pit limiter? Oh, that was close.
Driving angry.
He is driving angry, I tell you what. And getting back to Benny saying, yeah, happy safe holidays to everyone at OOR, and having a great time. And he thinks that Doe will come hard in this last half an hour. So maybe Doe up into the top 3, Leo, from some of the fans watching us. We've got an airborne. I don't know if you just saw that. It was on my screen of the Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a massive battle between Doe and Palmer probably for the Pro-Am victory, I'd suggest. So Doe is in the pits now. Palmer's already stopped. Palmer was obviously, I think, 4th or 5th before the pit stop. So I think that's where Doe is probably aiming.
Yeah, but all those Mercedes fans are absolutely filthy at the moment, because it looks like Avintia, I should say, is actually being disconnected, or something's happened. He was actually being launched up to the sky and beyond on a few.
The aliens came
back.
to take him, mate. The aliens came.
Yeah, they don't want to see that big AMG up on the podium, which is a big disappointment from Vintia, because he was having such a good race. But you know, someone's bad luck is someone's gain, and that could just be what the adopter ordered for Doe in the BMW as we're looking as he's coming out of pit lane now in the 888 BMW just in front of Bishop, I think it is.
I think it's just in front of Keys, and he's
actually,
probably,
Rashidi.
he's probably just behind Palmer and Rashidi, I think, and he's just in front of Keys at the moment. So, yeah, he's as it was called out from the chat, it looks like he's got good pace, and there's the battle for the Pro-Am. There's a back marker in between them at the moment, I would suggest.
Yeah, so this is where actually we did see actually Keys pit early for the undercut on Doe, so that hasn't eventuated though, has it? Because Keys is still behind him. So Doe's done an absolutely great couple of laps when he knew Keys was in. So now it's all about him now getting those tyres up to those magical tyre pressures and all in that window, and he's just got to put those headlights of the Aston rearing up on him here to bed, and just forget about him, because I tell you what, Keys has put those lights on. He means business.
Yeah, but Doe will not want to just get out of the way, because he's racing the guy ahead of him for Pro-Am victory, and he's got no reason to get out of the way here. So this will be a really good battle, and I think Keys will have his work cut out for him, because he stopped a little bit earlier, so his tyres would be a little bit more second hand towards the end, not massively, but it will be very interesting to see if he can cut through these the Pro-Am drivers.
Yeah, so Lucas Keys, his best is a 32.9. His last one was a 33.5. So, yeah, a little bit behind at the moment, but that's probably just because he's, you know, just not quite getting his braking markers as he's got the BMW in front of him at the moment to contend with as well. But he definitely looks like a man on mission at the moment. And I think it's only a matter of time until Lucas, with those fresh tyres, will make a move on Doe. He's got to do it early though, because once Doe gets settled, as we've sort of said, he will make it hard for Lucas to make this move, and he's just taken so much curb in this Aston in the first chicane.
Where do you reckon he's going to get him, Neil? Because I think he will get him. I'm not too sure where on the track. Where have you seen him being quite fast in this Aston?
Well, didn't we see him go around the outside of someone out of the final corner of Lodge Corner earlier? So maybe he might try and do this on the BMW, but I think Doe's a little bit too smart for that to happen. So maybe try and get a good run out of there and poke it down the inside of turn one. And we've actually seen him, I think, around the outside as well of turn one. So who knows? You could do inside, outside. But this, he's having a run up here. This is going to be pretty difficult to make it stick.
Yeah, he clipped the apexes so well there, and the car in front obviously didn't, and he made up so much time through that section, but nowhere to go, unfortunately.
Yeah, it cost him time too, didn't it? He went for it there, but just not quite going to happen that time around. Yeah, I don't think he's going to get much more of a chance to overtake, other than if he can get a good run out of here in that sweeper and try and unsettle the BMW. He might get a little run into the hairpin, but look, I'm not too sure. They've got the Porsche, I think, just in front of Palmer.
Yeah, it takes the high line to cut back in, but then obviously after that you go straight back into the chicane where there's not really an overtaking opportunity. But this is the section where you'll see, he just makes pretend like the curbs are not there, and the BMW had a bit of a bad exit, so I think he'll have to go defensive here.
Yeah, the BMW was right in the middle of the track, and that has frustrated the driver of Lucas Keys, and he's going around the old part of the circuit and missing all the corners. He's going to have to give that back, which he's going to do. And look at Thistlewaite. He's got some pace after driving angry after getting his front end of that Nissan fixed
Well, he's got a brand new GTR with new tyres, so he's feeling racy. Unfortunately, he's dropped a lap, and he doesn't want to spoil the other guys' party. So well done on him, just hanging back there, even though he's got really good pace at the moment. As I said it, he runs wide.
There, you've got a tick for a commentator's curse. There's your there's your first one. So we're 2-1. So I'm leading the battle.
Who's counting?
I'm counting. So we've got only 2 more drivers to take their mandatory stop in Cooley and Bonner home, I think it is, in position 10 And as we speak, Chris Cooley pulls it up on the marks. Bay 1, pit bay 1 for position 1. And here we got of the leading AM car actually in the pit lane. So we'll see if he can get out in front of Mike Crick, which I think he will. I think we've had a few disconnects, to be honest. So here we go. He's back up now in front of Doe.
Around the outside. That was excellent driving. We picked it up a bit late, but I think he just hanged it out wide, maybe braked a bit later, and just that's excellent. If that was the pass, then that's probably so far the pass of the race. If he made that work.
And look who's just behind him. The big white Bentley of Mike is putting a lot of pressure on Doe. And will Doe lose 2 positions in 1 lap? We'll wait and see if this big Bentley can make a move in the final sector.
Mike is coming back. He's been very racy this whole season in the white Bentley, and this specific race he's had a really good race as well so far. Except that little love tap that he gave somebody at some point, but it's been...
Yeah, the Ferrari it was, and I think he's gone as well, the Ferrari, so there's been a few dropouts.
Yeah, we had 21 starts and there's only 17 left, so that is a bit disappointing that the server potentially has kicked a few people. So much can go wrong in sim racing, I suppose, when you, we just see a big lunge there.
Yeah, he's keeping Doe high and dry here on the dirty side of the track, and he's going to have a run here. Is he going to have enough grunt? No, the BMW's been able to keep that position, and we did hear in split blue from the commentators, that's not a spot to be overtaking there into the island bend, because you will end up in the island probably if you do go for a move. And we've seen Thistleweight have come a cloppers there as well, where he gets a bit wide, and we saw the end result. But he's driving like a man on the mission. Thistleweight, it's unfortunate he's a lap down. This would be great if we had the Nissan also battling for this battle for position 7. Sure. Yeah, with Doe just in front at the moment in that position 7, with Mike giving everything he can.
You were talking earlier about the AM, so it looks like there's 20 seconds between Bonhomme and Crick, so he's leading that after that pit stop by the looks of things. So I would suggest that that's a really good race from Bonhomme up into P14 with the AM, and in Pro-Am we've got Palmer from Doe from Real, and then in silver we've got Cooley, Keys, Tonkin, and then we've got Mags, Tofik and Rashudi. So the top 4 at the moment, we've got Cooley, Mags, Tofik and Rashudi, and then Palmer in P5.
Yeah, just over 12 minutes remaining, so it looks like Cooley is doing the right things to try and get this job done, and also will take the lead of the championship going into the final round next week at Laguna Seca. You don't want to miss that. Make sure you join, and make sure also you say to your loved ones to visit the Simrigs website, because there's a lot of goodies there for Christmas for you know, the sim races. So make sure you go and visit our friends at Simrigs, and mention OOR for your nice Christmas discount, and shop away until your heart's content.
So has Santa stopped by Simrigs already for you, Neil?
Oh, one could only wish. Last year actually he did come with the goods. I run the Thrustmaster gear, and I got myself the open wheel add-on, which makes it good. I actually use that wheel for these GT3 cars, because it actually looks like the similar wheel that we're looking here at the Aston Martin. It's a little compact wheel, and yeah, the immersion is pretty good fun. So yeah, Santa was kind to me last year, but I think this year maybe not so sim related anyway.
It was interesting as we were on the onboard there, and I could see that there was a couple of adjustments made to the steering wheel in that section, so it looks like Mike was either dialing up brake bias or potentially traction control in that section.
Yeah, one would think maybe a bit of brake bias, maybe to get that car, the rear end, turning around a little bit, because he's trying to get a sharp exit if he can. Boys, he really closes in here at Cascades, doesn't he, at turn 3 on the BMW. Sort of looked like those brake lights caught him off guard. It looked like Mike really wanted to come into that corner a little bit faster. So yeah, he's definitely got some pace. He's got 10 minutes to try and get this position if he can. I think Keys is probably a little bit too far in front of Doe now for Mike to think that he could probably try and challenge Keys for a position, but his mindset has to be on this 7th position of Doe if he can, I think. Leo?
Yeah, I think this is his race right now. I reckon if he can get past, he'll get a P2, which will be a really good result for him for the championship as well. And he's been really racing well in this Bentley. I think we've got Cooley 20 odd seconds ahead of P2. If anybody was wondering, he is still our race leader and absolutely smashing, you know, just consistent lap times. He's in the 32s pretty much the whole race. And then we've got Max, Tafik, Rashudi, and they've all split a little bit as well. There's definitely been a separation in the gaps between them. So this is the battle on track, real trying to overtake Doe.
Yeah, and just a little update of the Porsche Cup. We've got White in front of Turcolini and Bishop, and White has actually extended that gap. I said just before the pit stops, I think they got it down to just under 5 seconds, but I think he's now blown that back out to around about 10 seconds to Turcolini in position 11. So White's doing a good job just holding into the top 10 to have 2 Porsches in the top 10, and we've also got the 2 Lambos of Tonkin and, I should say, Rashudi and Tonkin in the top 10. So
Yeah,
they're
White
the only
doing,
double ups, I believe.
I think you're
in the top
correct.
10.
I think there's probably the Aston as well. So you got Keys and Cooley with their Astons, but
There you go. Yeah, three's trouble there. So
But White is really representing with a 911 and leading the charge in that little battle pack, as we said earlier. And it looks like Turcolini has really gapped Bishop as well. So that has all fizzled out, unfortunately, because that was a really good battle for the first, I would suggest, 3/4 of this race. But the top Porsche at the moment is Palmer. So I really want to give him a shout out, you know, for Pro-Am being up in P5, doing a fantastic job. As the race director has picked him up there. Palm Tree Motorsport.
Palm Tree, yeah, exactly. That's the islands that we want to go to Christmas time and enjoy a cocktail too. But he's trying to make it even better and see if he can get position 4 from Rashudi. And he's got some pace that could actually eventuate too.
Absolutely. I think Rashudi was one of the other ones that came in a bit earlier, if you remember, when he was also trying to undercut some people. So I reckon that Brad has got some pace on him at the moment, potentially on better tyres. So this battle might eventuate as well towards the last 7 minutes. Brad is really having a really strong race here today.
Yeah, if you're only just joining us, we've had Cooley out in front pretty much from the get-go, and he's had that purple sector or the pink label with the fastest lap all race long. Keys, who's in 6th position, was challenging and absolutely got the commentator's curse and spun it out of Druids and bouncing all over the track and got some damage, I think, and into the pits he came. And another big one was the Mercedes having a disconnect of Vintinia, also dropping out, who was also strong in the top 5 as well. But we've got this battle now. Palmer's really caught on the back of Rashudi, and he's doing it for the black class. I'm not too sure again if that's is that the Pro-Ams, the black, I think it might be.
Yeah, I think it's the Pro-Ams, yep. I think yeah, Palmer is I will have a quick look for you if he's where he's on the championship standings. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, so if you're in chat, in the watching us, guys, start typing away. Will we see Palmer bring this Porsche up into 4th position, or do you think Rashudi's got what it takes to make that Lamborghini as wide as the track here at Oulton Park and keep the Porsche behind? So we'd like to hear your views and see who's going to come out on top here on this battle for position 4. And all will Lucas Keys in the background, we can see with 6 minutes remaining, not too far away in the Aston. Will he upset the rhythm here and actually take all of them? So let us know, and let us know how things are going in your neck of the woods and who you're all supporting.
Just had a quick look. Brad Palmer only has raced 1 of the series rounds so far. So this will be a fantastic result to launch him up the championship ladder. having only raced one other race at the moment. So I think Doe is leading that championship. So as Cooley is still not getting into the 31s, he's trying hard though, I can tell you. That is another fantastic lap, 32.020.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of clear track to try and maybe get a good run next time around to see if he can try and do it. But yeah, time's running out for him, but that's still a sensational time. I could only dream of doing a time like that. But yeah, definitely these guys are earning their keep there at the moment out on the track. And Rashidi is doing just that, keeping this Porsche behind, and we've talked about how good that livery of that Porsche looks.
So is this your favourite British racetrack, Neil? Compared to, you've got Brands, and there's a couple of other ones like Snetterton, and there's a few that people like and hate. But Oulton Park, how does that rank for you of all the British tracks?
I honestly like Oulton Park with you know, different sort of style of car, I could say, on different titles of games. But I'm pretty boring, I could say. Out of all the British tracks, I just love Silverstone. I just love the flowing of it. Always have liked Silverstone, and yeah, I can drive Silverstone all the time, actually, to be honest.
I'd like to see the people in the chat maybe tell us which British tracks they like, because there's so many to like. There's a few to hate as well, in my opinion. But Brands Hatch is my ultimate favourite British racetrack. I just love that track because there's never let up. You're just always doing something in the car, so it's just such a riveting experience. Feels like a little cauldron. Really love Brands Hatch in pretty much any car and any title. So but yeah, would love to see what people think as well, which British racetracks they like and prefer.
Yeah, it's got a lot of character, Brands Hatch, and a lot of history too, hosting many Formula One races there. And yeah, you are. Oh, look at Rashidi there, just getting the tail of that Lambo. Is this the opportunity Palmer's been waiting for? He'd lost a bit of ground. If he was up a little bit close, if that was a couple of laps ago, you would have seen a Porsche dive down 100%. The inside. But here he goes again. So Rashidi, he's got his head down. Concentration, he doesn't want to have another mistake there. He saw how much Palmer caught. As some of the people are saying, Oulton is the GOAT track of ACC, or probably just of any track of the British tracks from the Gorilla Snapper. So it's good to see that he's still breathing. But after those times from Chris Curley, and he also says Brands is an excellent track. So there you go, Leo. You've got the Snapper, all agreeing with your choice of track there.
Yeah, I'll go with a Snapper. At least there's two of us. We'll go have a race. As I see, Thistlewaite's just picked up a drive-through as well. I'm not too sure what for. I know he had his bad luck in that GTR, hitting the inside of that wall, and has been a back marker for a period of time, and he's now got a drive-through. So, as Brad is pushing very hard and probably too hard and losing a bit of traction on the end, and he's going to be under threat now from Keys as we've got 2 minutes left. Probably 2 laps left, I would imagine. So everything's still to play for here. P4, P5, P6.
And we've got Graham Hill from the Deaf saying that he's with Leo. Brands Hatch is his favourite, and Donington, well, you know, there's words that we won't describe about Donington. Not that he's posted there, but he's pretty much said it can go in the rubbish bin. So I tell you what, that's not happy for the fans of Donington, is it, there? So anyway, it looks like Thistlewaite has got that drive-through penalty course of track cuts from Stick Death. Thanks for letting us know. And the Snappers put in the argument over on Twitch. So we've got a Twitch and YouTube battle going for the favourite tracks here, saying that the Donington is good fun. So he thinks different from what Graham Hill's saying. And he doesn't like Snetterton, so he's calling it Snotterton. So there you go. Yeah,
Snetterton honestly is the one is my least favourite British track. I do not like that track at all. Like, honestly, that is the worst. But yeah, this little battle is really heating up as we're coming towards the end of the race, as Chris has just passed the pit lane, and I would imagine he's now on his final lap already, the leader. So we will probably, these guys will pass the finish straight and then have one more lap to go. So Keys has caught up. I think he was in P2, right, when he spun, and he's climbed his way back up to P6, but not as quick as we probably would have thought. I reckon this field is driving brilliantly today, so he's had his work cut out to get to P6.
Yeah, he's got one more lap to try and get this job done, and we've also big shout out to Mags in that McLaren as well. We did see a McLaren Fest at Spa taking the top spots, but he's doing a good job too. I think he qualified 30, almost got onto the front row, battling Keys in the qualifying battle. But you know, talking about Keys, what a drive he's had. He's had to come right through, as you said, through the field. A lot of overtakes, a lot of strong overtakes on a circuit that most say is pretty hard to overtake.
He's not finished.
So.
He's not finished. Let's see if he can do another outside pass on this. Oh no, he's too far back.
No, he's still got time though. He's got that final corner. He's tried every different part of the track to get it moves done there. So we could see a bit of magic from Keys in the final part, as we've got the leader Cooley coming out of that final corner. And here he goes to make another victory. I think that's 3 from 4 of this championship, and takes the championship lead back. But coming back to this big battle, because we can't miss this, because anything can happen in the last 3 or 4 corners of this lap. And it looks like the Porsche's sort of given up the ghost there to try and get the move done on Rashidi, as we've got the Mags coming through for Kovacs Racing. So well done to Red Rebel, sorry, I think it is. But we've got Keys here just trying to see if he can get that BMW. Oh, he's almost on the grass, but it's the inside line is being protected by Palmer. And I think he's got it, but Rashidi in 4th position. Great job from him too, because he had a poor qualifying, and good job. He'll be happy with that 4th position.
Absolutely, that was a fantastic race, and Rashidi just did enough to keep the guys at bay. And Palmer for Pro-Am, taking the win for Pro-Am in P5 in that Porsche. Fantastic race from him, and Keys got back up to 6th. And it looks like you said, you called it earlier, White took the little Porsche Cup victory there in P10. So and Mike Reel in his Bentley ended up in P8. So there we have it, guys. That was split blood, and that was a fantastic race. I can't believe the hour is already gone. And Chris Cooley just absolutely blitzed him today, didn't he, Neil?
Oh, he sure did. That was a great drive by Chris, and well deserved. And look at him just doing the drifting style. I tell you what, he's got some skills in the sim world to do that as well. So well done to Chris. But yeah, what a drive that was.
Yeah, do you want to take us through the final standings? So I know we had, unfortunately, a couple of disconnects there tonight, but it was still a fantastic race, and we started with 21 races there.
Yeah, so overall we've got obviously Cooley that takes the lead, takes the win there, with Mags behind him, 25 seconds behind, but Tafiq in 3rd position in that Ferrari. That's a good job, because he was driving that the wheels off that Ferrari. And Rashidi, good drive for him in there in 4th position. Just missing where we are now, because I can't see the leaderboard, but we're back into the silver here. We got Cooley taking that out with Keys, Tonkin, Bishop, Thistlethwaite, Wild, Vintinia, and Jasmine, I think. And then Pro-Am was Palmer, Doe, good drive for him, Real, White, Turcolini, Rochford, and Rotatori. And the AMs, well done to Bonhomie in the McLaren, taking that out over Crick. Crick got up in front of Devon Grua, I think Grua, in 3rd position. So well done to, I think he got a disconnect as well, unfortunately.
Fantastic, yeah. So I think Cooley will be jumping up the championship ladder with Tang not being there, but please tune in for the next round, because we'll be at Laguna Seca. And if Tang will be racing then, I would imagine we'll see a massive show-off between P1 and P2 as well then. So that will be up next week, correct?
It sure will. I can't wait to hit that wine country of Laguna Seca. I might even, being the last round, I might even have a little Chardonnay or something going in the commentary booth as well. And what a way to finish the race though at Laguna Seca, the corkscrew and everything. But that pretty much does us tonight there, Leo. Driver of the day, have you got one at all?
That's a really good question. I think obviously Cooley, you know, he blitzed everybody, finishing 25 seconds ahead of it. You probably have to give it, but I would say one of the guys I really enjoyed seeing tonight was Real. I know he had a small little mistake in that one lateral battle, but he came up. So he's probably a contender. Rashudi, I think, ended up way higher than what he started. So did Tawfiq. But Palmer will be my one for tonight because I reckon that Porsche putting the Pro-Am in P5 deserves a round of applause, and I think he's battled with some of the big names. So my shout goes for Brad in the Porsche.
Yeah, I'll echo that as well. Palmer for me, obviously Cooley, but take him out of the equation. Palmer, what a drive in that leading Porsche as well, and really held his nerve. So well done to Brad and also Chris Cooley for taking the win and the regain that championship lead. So that will do us up here now in the red split for the Simrigs Sprint Series. I've been your commentator, Neil Haynes, and alongside me, Leo Dreyer, and your ever professional Glenn on the race director, giving you all the visuals as well. So thank you to everyone involved. See you next week.